Hey all, for those who don't know, this is the 4th year of me being those two most hated words. Content creator. I started out just uploading personal speedruns, then went to making bad highlights of challenge runs, and to making glitch explanation videos, to whatever the frick I am now. And where I am now, it's quite good. I'm officially working YouTube as my full-time job, so that means I'm throwing my physics degree in the garbage. Now, it doesn't take a Sherlock to know I'm not big enough to financially support myself, but with the part-time job I have on the weekends, turns out I'm financially fine. I'm doing something that I love now. I'll be trying to make this work for at least the next year. So here's hoping that an AI doesn't make my channel obsolete. Here's hoping. I'll take this moment to plug my Patreon, as it's the best way to support me per dollar you spend. If you subscribe, you gain access to a special role in my Discord server, where you can get updates on progress, sneak peeks on what my other projects are, and more when I think of it. Make sure to watch my streams, where I'm currently speedrunning 100% Brutal and Ultrakill, with some brief visits to Souls games, Resident Evils, modded Doom content, and whatever else I really want to do. If you just want to watch the videos, that's perfect. And boy, do I have the video for you. I did a whole stream where I watched all my videos released over the course of the last year. In this video, you'll find my best clips from my videos and my reactions to them, creator commentary on what it was like making said video, and a discussion on the video's reception. Also, whatever I find funny.
100% is boring as fuck.
So I found it funny. That's the only reason it's in there. It's by every metric. I should not have included that clip, but fuck it, I like it too much. Now, due to just the sheer length of this video, editing will be relatively light. So think of it more as like a podcast you can put on your second monitor as you grind RuneScape. I'll put timestamps in the description so you'll be able to skip around to only the videos you want to see, or help find where you last left off. The full creator commentaries are, of course, located in a playlist in the description if you hate the idea of missing even a single second of watching a video with me. And that's it. Enjoy. Cheers to year 5, and also, thanks for 10,000 subscribers. I'll catch you guys in the next one. The order that I'm going to tackle all these things in will seem a little random, but trust me, there is narrative reason for it. It is not at all that my writers are bad. It's all intentional, and if it's bad on purpose, then it's not bad. Happy for the 4 years I found your YouTube video last year because of Doom Eternal. Everyone found me last year from Doom Eternal. You know why? I have to thank, like, me continuing on, basically, to this video. The hardest Doom Eternal mod of all time. This video popped the fuck off. 350,000 views. So, a lot of what I have to help to my current success, me with my 9.23k subscribers and 50-ish videos, don't see how many videos I've unlisted or privated because they're just shit. I'm not gonna watch this because this is basically what I'm doing, but for all my previous videos. So if anyone wants to see my thoughts on my previous videos, just go watch this. It covers everything from the hardest Doom Eternal mod of all time, all the way to what speedrunning Doom looks like basically nearly all my edited content. So go ahead and watch that if you want to, but for now, we'll talk. This is one of my speedrun documentary-esque videos. I'm actually, in terms of speedrun documentary stuff, I think this is, my best work in that aspect. Hey, y'all. Doom 26. This kind of goes to the trend of where I like something weird happening, and then my face or a face just appears on screen. And I say, hey, y'all. I just think it's a quick way to, get someone's attention. However, I gotta go into the issue of I don't want the introduction to be too long, because if somebody doesn't see that the video is getting to a point, if it's just somebody going, blah, you might just click off immediately. I got into this issue with this video. This video had too much of a long introduction, and I saw that the viewer spike. Dude, if you want to hear something fucked up, only 40% of viewers made it got to where I start speaking. People who clicked on the video, 40% of them got past the intro of me basically having the cold opening. So I learned after that, you gotta speed that shit up, 5 seconds at most. So without further ado, let's get into it. That introduction it's quick, it's brief, it's to the point. You get 1 minute and basically you know what the video's gonna be about. I'm a bit proud of how well and concise that is. How do I put it? I'm in a Discord with a bunch of other speedrun content creators. We have a criticism / feedback section. The reason why I think this intro is so good is because I posted the first draft of this video to there to get feedback on my intros and how I could play them better. And I actually got a lot of good advice from, so One Short Eye, M Sushi, and Zweek all commented with a bunch of great constructive feedback into how I should phrase things, how I should time zooms and whatnot, and all that stuff. These guys with those little bits of criticism that I tried keeping in mind probably helped me a ton in the editing game. And that's about it. Okay, anybody in this chat, anybody in YouTube or Twitch stream, anyone like Monster Prom? It's this roguelike visual novel dating simulator that you can play with your friends. And I fucking love the background music. I use at least like once a video. Like, the background music's just too good. So if you're wondering where I get music choices, it's from games I've played, basically. Monster Prom's goated. To be fair, this is the best confirmation box of all time. Just to confirm, are you willing to put yourself through the, like... That is an actual text box in the game for when you select Ultra Nightmare. The devs had such a good sense of humor. Okay, so this is 10 times speed, not 100. I just mistyped when hitting the 0. This only got brought to me after the fact when Ember watched the video, and then when she was talking to me in DMs about it, she said, "Why did you lie to me there?" I was like, "Why 100?" Like, this just missed all my revisions. I just missed that I had a typo. So sorry for lying. The clickbait got him. A free minute of time save if you just, slide that difficulty slider down to UN. Okay, me clicking the tongue there. Here's a weird thing. One thing that's off-put, which I kind of get the criticism of, that people don't like the tone of my videos, or at least some of the speedrun YouTubers don't like my tone. They don't like how, I approach everything in a casual / friendly manner. Personally, I like this way of speaking. I like this way of video presentation, because after all, it's like, hey, we're gonna casually watch a video. Let's not take ourselves too seriously. Let's just have fun, and I'm going to tell you about some wacky speedrun stuff. But I think everyone in the speedrunning scene, and viewers are kind of trained to this in some aspects, of the soft-spoken, super dramatic speedrun story that kind of was popularized by Summoning Salt. Everyone just kind of defaults to that, and you don't really see people like doing speedrun stuff in different formats and styles. So that's like, I'm not gonna do what Summoning Salt did. If you want to see what I did when I tried emulating Summoning Salt somewhat, watch my Urdak video. It was clear that the current route would need to change to make it faster. And the first barrier to fall would be finding skips for cutscenes. That graph was such a good decision to visually represent stuff, but I needed a better intro effect for that frickin' graph, because slowly rotating going out after a hard cut, not good. I needed like a crossfade. I needed like maybe it to come from 0 or something.
I am not the villain in this story.
Fucking such shit emojis. Why did I do that? Okay. It's a throwaway joke. It's literally half a second. It doesn't matter if it's bad too much, but it pisses me off. I should have done something different. Dara actually has a pretty good video on the, on the final boss skip and basically its origin and stuff. So I didn't want to replace his video. Dara was one of the people who fact-checked my script and my history and all that stuff. Link to his video and I can skip the section. If I included everything that Dara has here, it'd be like a 25-minute video because Spider Mastermind Skip actually has a pretty big history. But, you know, we gotta help each other out. We brothers and YouTubers. Just kidding. Dara speedruns Dark Souls. Can't even believe it. That's not even my game. This does not apply to every ledge, and is dependent on the amount of frames per second the game is getting. The more FPS, the more speed. Yeah, I literally just lifted a graphic I made for another video and used it here, because that graphic is just, it's a good graphic. It just helps you really get to how rail boosting, like, quickly and effectively works. I have no problem stealing old content for new content, as long as it's a slightly different context. You know what's the frustrating thing about Doom Out of Bounds that I don't have a good fix for, know that I think that there will ever be a good fix for, is that collision pops in and out based on where you're viewing all the time, which makes these scenes a little awkward. I wish there was some way to keep all collision loaded, like a command I could type in console, but I couldn't find anything in when I made my videos. As a Spider Mastermind rail boost. One thing I think that could have extended this video's length like a few extra minutes and really add to the story, because I just kind of bring up rail boosting of like, oh, you just gotta find a rail boost. But how the fuck do you find a rail boost? Huh? Like, if you don't know the difficulties of finding a rail boost, it being unknown that there's a rail boost here for a long time doesn't make as much sense without the context in the background. A section I wanted to add to this video that I would add in if I remade this video today. I'd go over how rail boosting collision is wonky and it's different and it depends on very specific collision. And I would also go over how the only way to test for rail boosting is to basically just to jump on a ledge and see if you get a rail boost or not. That's made it. There was no system you can do. You can like go into the game code and like look for rail boostable collision and then see which ones fit. No, you had to bang your head against a wall proverbially until like you just you get one. No known way of clipping to the ground to activate them. My camera control is weak here. Weak. Should have just had this scene and then slowly zoomed on it or something. But yeah, just having janky, like, mouse and keyboard, like, movement in this just makes it awkward. I've gotten better in this aspect, but could have pulled out a controller. If I ever do a similar shot or have a mind for that, that's actually a really good idea. In order to complete the next level, Cattinger Sanctum, quickly, a lot of Gauss amp. Ah, yes, the next level, Cattinger Sanctum quickly. It's technically grammatically correct. So one thing about these graphs and all that stuff, I do like the graphs. It helps visualize how UN's slowly approaching Classic. Coming up with the time numbers for these graphs was the most work of the video. It's so weird because there were so many other discoveries and other levels that dropped the time down that just happened coincidentally that are not related to the Classic or UN. So the timers kept going down. I had to look it up. And eventually I was just like, okay, I just need like within 10 seconds approximation. And that's the point I got to.
My voice is shaking, man.
Ultra night wave clipping. How do I put it? The dude says his voice is shaking, but he sounds like the most chill motherfucker I ever heard. Click that subscribe button and move on to my Patreon. Alright, peace. I like doing just outros that are just like a big over the top, you know, basically just inflate my ego to the nth degree. That's outro, outro underscore. I don't know. It feels weird asking people to subscribe, catch me on Twitch and whatnot if I just ask regularly. So it's just like, okay, overplay the character. Doom Minecraft mod. What does this video remind me of? I also had the idea of speedrunning a Roblox mod of Doom. However, nobody made a Doom mod of Roblox. So I think I wanted to do a Minecraft because there was a trend of people who just like speedrunners would just play Minecraft. They start speedrunning Minecraft 1.16 random seed glitchless. Every single speedrunner ran it. So like I was just like, okay, I'll make the trend, but I'll have a spin on it by bam, Doom Minecraft mod. I think that's what it is. So this style of introduction where it's just a quick overview of the video, I just got into because, like, at the end of the day, I want people, when they click on the video, to know exactly what they're going to get. So here's a few questions. Here's what I'll be exploring. Here's what I'll be doing. All that stuff. I love doing the zoom out of the screen, and so like it's just black bars and it slowly rotates. I think that's just a good way to just show that something different's happening without having to make anything different. It's kind of like a lazy life hack. I have no idea why it all pixely. I mean, it's a block game, don't get me wrong, but I thought it looked better than this. Sheesh. Your computer runs Doom at hundreds of FPS, but Minecraft needs to be on. Honestly, I don't touch Minecraft. I never play the game, so I probably just had some settings on from previous computer and never changed them, period. It's not even a Doom ego. I'm gonna be real. When I play games, people, I am that gamer who bumps it up to the highest difficulty immediately. And I regret that sometimes because some games are shit at balancing their difficulty. Okay, one thing a little bit about that chainsaw actually adds like such a combat loop to Minecraft. It is insane. I'm not joking when I say AAA games I've played, cough cough Cyberpunk, have worse combat systems than this fucking Minecraft mod. Like, how do you do that? And the answer is because they aren't looking for anything good. They're looking for something generic that a lot of people can get to. That's all it is. I guess I want to talk a little bit about word choice. I used the word speed there twice back to back. I would never do the same thing now, but unless like it's necessary for explaining that I need to use very specific language. Every time that happens, I just cringe a little. Like there's a lot of, here's the thing. I think my videos, they do a lot of the big stuff right for videos. They just fail on some little stuff that I don't quite see until I view it in retrospect, like a month or a week later or something. That's hard because it's very hard when you're working on video and you're dedicating a few hours of your time working on it. You can't really see all the flaws because like you're just in the mode of get it done. Only after you're out of that mode can you really like look back at them. I get so many, guys don't know how many comments I get because I reference Call of Duty Zombies a lot because it's one of the most popular games that is absolutely shit. Like, I played a lot of zombies when I was younger too, people. I was in the boat. I used to think Call of Zombies was good. Call of Zombies. But no, the games are garbage, objectively. Like, there's no gameplay to them. So I like referencing that because I know people will just, like, go up in arms being like, Call of Duty Zombies was great. It was. I have feel-good feelings. Maybe we could go into that later. But for now, Call of Duty Zombies, boo. Thumbs down. Actually bad, and I only liked it because I was 12. But Retro, I really like fighting one, sometimes even two enemy types for hours on end that you just lead in circles while shooting. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's literally just running in circles and shooting. There's no depth beyond that. It's the most simple combat you can... Also, can we talk about level scaling in zombies, where it's like they couldn't spawn in more zombies because of, you know, console limitations or whatever. So what they did was they just made them stronger, gave them more HP. So you'd be if you got to round 70 or something, you'd be shooting the same zombie for about like 30 minutes. There was no ingenuity. They just said, fuck it, first possible option. I hate zombies. Okay, moving on. I'll have you know, like, we'll get into this later when I look over the comments, but I got half of those wrong. I don't know Minecraft. I just don't. I'll say this section is kind of somewhat similarly structured to a video I saw around the time. Joseph Anderson released their Elden Ring critique, and in it, he has a section where he's saying that Elden Ring won't let him play his way. Elden Ring has some weird design decisions. Basically, some melee builds get really fucked by. And he was mad because that was his playstyle that he liked doing. And so I kind of like took that like angle and introduced it into this. Because at the end of the day, people, we just plagiarize everyone. It's just we all accept that an acceptable form of plagiarism is where you take inspiration from and the core idea and nothing else. I will say, you know, I was thinking about it. This, Sabogi actually completely disagrees with me on that point. See, Witch is actually Evoker, Village Guard is actually Iron Golem, Piglin Guys is Ravager. See, I got all of them wrong. So in 745, he kind of says how the Pinkies were meant to be crucibled, which is like I said, like they're meant to be crucibled. I get it, that was the developer intention, but I didn't want to use the Crucible. It's a one-shot. And then you will struggle if you use your provided weapons, but that's also why the pistol exists. I don't consider the pistol a viable option. Because it's just so shit. So, like, how about I put it? Say that you're not out of resources, you can still shoot them, then giving you, like, a slinger and some rocks, like, sure, yeah, you can technically still shoot. Will you be effective, or will it help? No, you basically might as well have nothing. People will complain that I think the Switch is a bad port because of low limit. Straight up, if somebody told me, like, should you play the Switch port of Doom Eternal, or should you play this Doom Minecraft mod? I say play the Minecraft mod. Because, yeah, you could have poor performance, poor graphics, and all this stuff while still have a fun game. But no, Switch fanboys, they will always be mad at me, and this will just be a burden I will bear. Right here, after I'm done with the Let's Play of the mod, you want to know what happens? 15% of viewers leave the video. Nobody was interested in the speedrun. They all, like, left this instant the Let's Play was over. Wait, that's a conclusion? They're done with the mod. The video must be over. I assume that's what's going on in the 12-year-olds who are watching this video or something, because, you know, mental capacity is hard. But, I think this video helped me structure things in a way of where I have to think if I want to have a video to have distinct sections. Like, I have to make sure that I don't have a conclusion in the middle unless it's, like, there's a point to it. I just realized that So, like, I did this for the primary reason that I needed footage and I needed something to go in the background. So I'm like, okay, what can I do to just... yeah, they PayPal me $20. I got a notepad every time I'm verifying a run. This is exactly what I do. I take notes. I haven't verified a run in like 3 years. Yeah, on the Doom Eternal moderation stuff, I'm not really too interested in helping the leaderboards. I'm more interested in like the community events, helping out with the... you know, the community and all that stuff. Kind of just straight up say, just like, yeah, I'll handle some administrative stuff, some rule stuff, help out with that a little bit. I don't know, I'm mainly an event guy. That's just where my interests lie. I wish when I was running the event or something, I just shut up. I wouldn't like say boss fight or something. I let them just like, wait, boss fight, and then discover itself. I don't know. That's just something. I have the weird habit of wanting to vocalize things before they happen, because then I'm thinking like, oh, if this impressive thing and I tell you about it, you'll like me. Which is some psychological stuff I still have to work through, but...
Don't fall in the lava. Ooh.
It's better if I just die, honestly. Yeah.
Commentator's curse, huh?
Yeah, commentator's curse. I'm realizing this with this highlight-ish like style that this video takes in. I should have been doing way more cuts. Pacing just feels so off here.
Minecraft parkour is, of course, very, very different.
Something, there are no strafe jumps in Minecraft. Okay, very weird thing. Most people may not get that joke. There are no strafe jumps in Minecraft. That is a reference to Captain Sparkles. Like every 12-year-old, I watched a lot of Minecraft content. Captain Sparkles was one of my favorites. He has this video where, or a couple videos where he goes over Minecraft parkour maps with a bunch of friends. And one of the common jokes they said throughout that whole series was there are no strafe jumps in Minecraft, referencing like Quake and Doom and stuff like that have strafe jumps. So they were just like, okay, hey, I'm going to strafe jump and I'll make this gap when no, that doesn't work. So they always said, reminder, no strafe jumps in Minecraft. And I don't know why, but it's just one of those jokes that I want to repeat that I hope somebody will eventually get without me egging them on like this. Somebody will do that one day.
Is there not a spider mastermind? I don't even know.
I don't know. You're just predicting things, and I'm just
I am predicting
I'm
things.
just confirming if that is your final lock-in.
Hello, confirming if that's your final lock-in.
There we are. Okay. Mute just has such weird deadpan humor that it kind of works. A small thing that I do nowadays that I wish I did more is add like a small little zoom effect over those clips where I I do a close-up or something. I should try to implement more. That sometimes just having a little bit of motion does a lot, visually keeping you interested. To get extra BFG shots. Okay, the reason why that shot hung so long is because there was corrupted audio/video. You can kind of hear it a little bit. I probably should have did a little bit more post work to try to get the audio to work. I just have a fade transition to where you can still see it. I should have just had it be a hard cut or something.
In Eternal Game Code, the Crucible was actually spelled wrong for a big portion of the code.
Ah, so yeah.
Oh, Codex.
Yeah, that's actually where I figured out how that crocodile is like how it's spelled basically in the code. And that is a recurring joke that will happen in the other videos / just, Sorry, people, don't shout out Captain Sparkles, I guess, okay? Yeah, whoa, multiple Captain Sparkles references in one video. Man, did this dude watch him or something? Ton of sin for people wondering in a speed race. I'm pretty sure that fade transition was also from corrupted footage. This marathon had a lot of things where footage just got corrupted. For MDSR events, I am the person in charge of video side of things, so I edit and then upload the VODs and whatnot. Almost every run had a couple of audio issues, which is just weird.
Deserve this. What?
We don't. All right, and the video ends quite abruptly there because I don't know how to fucking make endings. All right, Doom Eternal. Well, every enemy is a Marauder. Wow, this was a video. Look at this. This is Calliope for people who know VTubers. I don't know why every single time I need casual content or casual reactions to things, I just look up a VTuber playthrough. Because there's no VTuber who plays games professional. They're all just casual people. Maybe this is just something about the VTubing industry, but I really don't like the VTubing industry. You know why? Because it's idol culture. Idol culture is basically a company saying that, oh, this person's so cool. Aren't they so cool? And then they give them the audience, then the audience of the company implants onto the person. And then they make a live streamer or something out of it. I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's weird because they aren't necessarily getting popular because they're funny or interesting. It's because some corporate exec put them on a platform, right? So there's a lot of ethical ramifications of VTubing I'm not the biggest fan of. It's just how it be. Plus also cute anime girls playing games. You can't really beat that. You're fine with people that do that independently? Yeah, same. Like, I'm fine. Like, my point is I want the person to become popular because they're entertaining, not because some suit gave them a seat. So if you're a VTuber who's worked your way and like got to popularity because of it, good on you, dude. You're the gold standard. Okay, sorry. This video gets a lot of weird comments, and one of the recent comments we got there was on this video was, yeah, looks at Annie's profile picture on Discord, sees that it's an anime girl's like, I don't think they're actually a girl. Based on what? Solely that they have an anime profile picture? Yeah, God forbid women like anime. That can't happen. But unfortunately, there are fatal errors if zombies are not in the pool of monsters. I get a few things where people say I'm clickbaiting when I say every enemy is a Marauder, but I clarify a minute into the video that's like, I tried to include as many Marauders as possible, The game crashes if I put in too many. Here's the value I settle at. 50-50 chance of fodder or Marauder. And even that has problems. So I don't get why people say clickbaity, because, like, I try to explore the concept, fail, and do the next best thing. I could be like, okay, all the fodder that spawn in are all fodder, and then every time it's something just above a fodder demon, it's a Marauder, and that could also work with this. I tried that, actually, in beta testing for this video of just every heavy demon basically being a Marauder. Well, every heavy demon and upwards. It was just boring as shit. I did it. I dicked around in the first level of Hell on Earth, cleared that nearly instantly, and it's just like, that's not a fun or interesting concept. I need more Marauders. Until some nerd makes that mod after watching this video. Supposedly, there's somebody who made that, actually. I got added in Annie's Randomizer Discord when somebody did that, asking me to play it. I just checked it out, saw some footage. It's like, oh, okay, interesting. I could have done that variation of video where literally every enemy is a Marauder now. But, yeah, that's in the past right now. I'm not going to redo the video. Please just go lucky on me in the first room. Just also, shoutouts to when I did the webcam in the corner and I don't blur out the background anymore. I mean, I use an AI tool that tries to predict, like, me, and so that it's only me on screen now. But yeah, you can see how this glitch, like, the headrest, it gets a lot, sometimes on the headphones or the mic, all that crap.
Oh, but dog water in execution. The Marauder has
dog water, puns. One thing I'm trying to do with my current videos, you kind of see this in the Ultrakill video, I'm trying to work in more humor into my scripts, because normally when I write things down, when I write out my scripts, it's very matter of fact. Because, like, I'm not a very good comedian in the sense of I can't, like, write down a joke. Like, all jokes come to me, like, spontaneously. When I start doing the VO, I'll try to ad-lib jokes based on my current script. But yeah, I'm more of an improv comedian. That's kind of where my background is. So I was in an improv group in college, people. I'm not that much of a professional, but fuck it, I'll gaslight as one. Okay, I had so many people. If I just scroll down to the comments section, maybe it's just that the Marauder is supposed to be super easy on Hurt Me Plenty, but it always seemed pretty easy to me. Like, everyone just comments down below about how they think the Marauder's no big deal. It's like, oh, you only hate Marauders because you're not skilled. It's like, okay, bro, you don't need to take out your edict. I'm talking about how they're glitchy and buggy here. You don't have to justify that you like them. I find it very hard to, like, justify the Marauders' bugs from a gameplay perspective or a design perspective. You can't. Like, there's no reason why full auto shouldn't stagger, why Ice Bomb wakes them up out of their stagger, and why when you shoot them, sometimes they just don't even stagger.
So, to counteract this, I gave myself a handicap, infinite ammo, as otherwise...
I just love how I'm zooming on me saying give infinite ammo, and I'm spelling it wrong, having a lot of errors. Like, I'm incompetent. By the way, 2 hours of content for a total of what? About 4 minutes of video. There's so much lost to the annals of time. I will say, I do have some clips that are right next to each other that serve the same purpose, so probably could have deleted, like, one of those. To be fair, this video right here was a slog to edit. I'm gonna be real. I just was not passionate about this project at all. I kind of wanted to talk about Marauders a little bit in the intro and, like, explain some of the speed tech. So, like, for the first 5 minutes is, like, passion-filled. The last 25, I'm just like, Hell on Earth was the most interesting part of the run, and I have to stretch this video out to see that I complete the game. Because, you know, that's the premise. Can you beat Doom Eternal with as many Marauders as possible? Dude, just the stuff after Hell on Earth isn't interesting. It just isn't. So I skip around a lot and X'd a lot of footage, and the fact that it's even 31 minutes surprises me, honestly. Dude, I've only recently started really paying attention to cuts, pacing, and visual stuff, like, very recently. But now that I see it, I can't unsee it. I cannot hang on a scene too long. I have to do a cut or an edit or something to, like, keep the flow going. Unironically, people say TikTok or TikTok brain. I feel like that's happening to me slightly, where my attention span is short, so I need to put it in an edit some places.
In case you're wondering, I have no idea why this happened. If any nerd in the comments wants to point it out, let me know.
We don't understand a lot of it. However, I think Worth let me know about this. There's this concept of this game where sometimes mantling a ledge will reset your stable ground position. Stable ground is a concept in games where it's like, if you fall into a respawn barrier, or if you die, or if you hit an invisible wall or death plane or something, you get warped back to your last stable ground position. This game has the stable grounds be weird and affected by mantles, and then me triggering the extra life made me go back to my last stable ground, which is where I mantled. That's basically what happened. I don't know why mantling resets your stable ground position, but supposedly it does. So we have another dark part of the room to discover, but hey, we at least know a little bit more. What the fuck was that? Okay, this is actually not too bad of a way to do that. Like, the balloon deflating as I'm, like, sighing. Like, that's kind of funny. Okay, now this is an area where... In case you're wondering, I died for literally, like, 2 minutes on stream after seeing that. But I'm like, I can't have all that laughing. My logic behind making it shorter was if people wanted to see it, they could just rewind again. Oh, look, good. This is a good model. Look, Marauder's a perfectly programmed enemy. Like, look at this.
Good damage to use on these green lanterns.
Green lanterns? Why do... It's because they flash green. And you know what else is green? The Green Lantern! The amount of witticism for the jokes in this video is skyrocketing. Like, oh my god. Like, it's so well written. What can I say? Locked to fucking oblivion, are you kidding me? Yeah, okay, another thing why Marauders are shit. Hit stun. Why do the Marauders have 15 years of hit stun? Like, literally, you can't move, dash, jump, or anything, and then you could get dogpiled. The game obviously is not intended for multiple Marauders. It's intended for at most, like, 2. But yeah, the fact of just getting stunned and getting taken out of control as the player, that just doesn't feel good, especially when the Marauder has a bunch of bullshit. It could just hit you because fuck you. So it's kind of amplified. Oh, okay, a small thing, people. I always credit music in my description. So in case you're wondering what that Deadlink song was, that Deadlink song was called Day of Sex. It's the song that plays in the strip club. And I don't know why the song that plays in the strip club in that game is just the perfect for it was just good for montage music.
Granting more protection than a video essayist saying, in my opinion,
that is a good joke. I do like that joke. I watch a podcast a lot, people, and what they do on the podcast is they watch like a video essay, basically, and they're like very analytical and critical. They will break down every single essence of a video essay, and there's a lot of shit video essays on this platform. So I don't know why. I think I just watched an episode of that podcast or something. That's one of the main things that they have is like, why are you saying in my opinion so much? Are you trying to shield yourself from any criticism? Like, because here's the thing, I do say in my opinion in some of my video essays and whatnot, but usually that's when I'm expressing like a preference or just a general view on something. I'm not using it as a shield. I'm just, how do I put it? Variety in the way I speak. Like, I say it because it's just a different phrase of saying, oh, this is what's happening. I view something this way. Like imagine, like, if you're watching a superhero movie, like, let's just pick Spider-Man, for example. And they say, in my opinion, this movie is really about Daredevil. Well, I can't be wrong. It's in my opinion. But no, you just used in my opinion to dress a fact about the film that you got wrong. Like, come over. Oh, one thing you'll notice, I completely forgot about this, but I just had a brain blast, is that you'll see that some of the audio is delayed in some clips. I had an audio error where audio was slightly offset in the stream footage. I tried to align it post hoc and it just doesn't work and stuff.
And now we have the BFG, the best firing gun.
It's a joke. It's a joke that's a running joke. Every time I say the BFG, I give it a different acronym. I just find it funny. Shoot, 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 shoot. A 5-step program. I change the number each time. So you see how, like, there's a 6 here and then there's a little 6 behind? Basically how I did this was that I created this whole, here, let's go to something where it isn't fucked. Like, see, like, this is perfectly aligned. So what I did is dropped all these, and then I would just have them one after each other to place to make sure stuff was perfectly lined. But I'm guessing what happened with the 7th one is I slightly moved the layer so the crop wasn't perfectly aligned. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like not a big flaw or anything. It's only on the screen for like a quarter of a second. So that's why I didn't notice it in editing, but it's a weird thing that I see now. And I guess that's the point of these streams. The stream is me to point out inconsequential small shit. One small thing. Look at that. There's a Rubik's Cube there. It has evolved. I keep a 5x5 Rubik's Cube on my desk just because I think it's a fun little decoration. I don't know how to solve one of these things. I know conceptually how to do it. It's just I never put it into practice. You do this, lock on, Anime combo is so sick. It is so flashy. It is so cool. It's also really ineffective. It is completely impractical, but it's fucking funny. Well said, previous Rytro. You know, it's weird. I see montages like this. I think they drag on a little bit too long. But there's some challenge run videos on YouTube that have hundreds of thousands of views. You know what they do? Instead of having all these clips and all that stuff, they literally just have music playing in the background as they're fighting. And that it goes on for a way longer section. So I feel like, okay, montage maybe not the best here, but is good at communicating stuff. Also, I just want to give a second to jam because I just talked for a lot. And to be fair, Turbo Overkill OST does slap. This is probably the best song in the soundtrack, so... like I said, I wasn't too passionate about this video. You can tell that I'm just throwing my hands up in the air, being like, good enough, ship it.
Is a wrong word. And
Summoning Salt music starts playing. It's an old joke. Played anything from the Summoning Salt soundtrack, and then just... when you talk about speedrun stuff, is just an easy win, and I have no problem taking those. Speedrunner doesn't like combat. What's wrong with the combat in this game, streamer? You don't like facing 17 Marauders back to back? Disappointed in you, honestly. Alright, people. Okay, I feel like I have to include sections like that in these videos. That's like a preemptive to any criticism. It's like, why are you saying the Marauder sucks? Like, what's going on? It's just like, because I'm trying to, like, preempting it of people just butting in and basically being like, why did you skip the combat? It's like, dude, it's just 17 Marauders. You know how many times I fought 17 Marauders in a row during this whole playthrough? I'm gonna have some levity. I'm gonna do the speedrun skip. It's just something.
which will be live on my Twitch. I'll see you all there. Or not. You'll likely just watch the video I make about it, which is cool too.
Yeah, I still have the footage from, I called it Cursed Unbalanced Randomizer. I have all the footage up on my VOD channel if anyone wants to check it out. I'm waiting for Irina to get done with the current project I have her on, and I'm planning on just giving her that footage. I could personally do it myself, I guess. However, fuck it, I'd rather work on some other stuff. I would have said the date here. I had COVID while editing this as well. I forgot about. It's like I couldn't do any voiceover recording because I just would speak well. I would speak well. You notice how I sound healthy in 1 second and then unhealthy in the next. It would be awe-dropping. So I guess this is a example of something where I think it's edited well. I just didn't really have much passion behind it, but it's doing relatively well, almost 100,000 views. So I don't know. I figured it's one of those topics that would do well because it's similar videos do well with like Elden Ring, where instead of they make every enemy like Elden Beast or something. This right here for Doom's greatest achievement. This video is my magnum opus. It's the best video I've made. I feel like there's no other way to say it. This is just a banger of a video. I completed my longtime Doom goals of completing Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal and both its DLCs back-to-back UN. And I was just like, that was such a big achievement for me. That I'm like, if I do not go whole hog with this video, I would feel so disappointed. I edited this over Christmas, over GDQ, when I got back from GDQ to try to get this video out because, for one, I usually go by the mantra of I want to do about 1 video release a month. And I've done that for 2023. I'm doing that for this year. And I don't release more videos than I typically do. What happens is now that I have a lot more free time because I'm out of grad school, usually what just happens is the length of the videos goes up, but you get it at the same rate. So that's basically what goes on here. This was like 2.5 months worth of like editing, scripting. Let's get into it.
Hey y'all. No hit.
I think that's my favorite. That's my favorite intro so far. Just photoshopping my head onto the guy as he's about to slam. Because the slam doesn't happen. All this tension is built up. It's like, I wanted to see this. I wanted this. It's like, no, you're left unfulfilled. So now you must fulfill that with the rest of the video. That's what you must do.
Really appeals to the monkey side of my brain.
Okay, that line was slightly different. I actually changed that last minute. I had that like, these runs really appeal to monkey brains. It's like there's a primeval, like, fascination kind of with it, kind of like how people look at like campfires and all that crap. But I realized that me saying that everyone who likes these runs have monkey brains could be taken way negatively. So I made it personal. I said the monkey side of my brain because I wanted to avoid anything that can seem combative in like the first minute because I have to hook people. Okay, here's something that's a little funny that's happening. Notice how I'm swapping between different runners here?
Sometimes complete whole games, series, and genre.
That's the same dude. I think his name's Happy Hob. Just in one scene he has a bandana, the other scene he doesn't. And I thought those were different people in my footage when I was looking this over. No, no, they're even actually wearing the same shirt, I think.
Series and
see, he's wearing the same shirt, and but he has a headband in the other, so he must be a different person. Like, it's funny how brains work, don't they?
We did it! Doom.
Happy Hob has insane reactions. I looked through a few reactions of people getting the God run because I wanted, you know, something to cut over my commentary. And every single time Happy Hob gets a God run completion, he does that same scream in the same style. It is insane. The dude has dedicated to the bit.
Because unfair attacks are pretty uncommon. So
I remember people say this a lot when they think from my introduction that I'm about to say that I no-hit the Doom series. It's like, fuck no, you can't do that. That's too much. This game isn't built around being that fair. Casually using another Irina clip on this. It's not my fault that she's iconic, people. Difficulty. Excuse me, I meant ironic. Dude, I'm just saying, if Irina ever gets big, if this is her channel, if you are watching this stream, you legally need to click on that channel and subscribe because she makes great work. Only 400 subs is criminal. And if she ever gets famous enough because of my influence, her name will legally have to become Iconic Irina. The Ancient Gods Part 1 and Part 2 don't have box arts. They don't have, like, game covers. So I had to Photoshop this just to get this one fucking shot. It was way too much effort for, like, just a small thing, but what?
It would take a casual player over 30 hours to beat.
People said over 30 hours. I didn't mean, like, playing it casually your first time. I'm talking about you played the games before you understand them, and then you go through them all. Some people be like, oh, man, it took me, like, over 60 hours to beat Duba Turtle. Like, really? On a first playthrough? Which okay, maybe this is just because I'm so divorced from reality because I spend every second online or something. But the games are hard, don't get me wrong. But 60 hours on one playthrough? That's like getting stuck for an hour in literally every encounter. So, I remember somebody posted that and I said, dude, why'd you expose your skill issue? He's like, no, it's just that I have a wife, kids, a job. It's just like, no, yeah, okay, I can understand if you're like, yeah, it took me 30 hours because I have a wife, kid, and job. That's a reasonable amount of time. 60 hours? Yeah, that's a skill issue at that point. You're just bad at games. Like, hate to break it to you. I wanted to preface it because I knew this video is long. And if somebody's like, oh, dude, I'm not gonna watch your videos too long. Like, dude, just watch like a section and then come back to it later. I don't intend for anybody to watch this in one sitting, nor do I expect them to. That's why there's timestamps. Like, it's that simple. People are always so weird when they make the long video, therefore I won't watch it. It's like, dude, how many times have you scrolled TikTok? How many times have you watched 15-minute videos back to back from each other? You can easily just pause and then come back. Long video equals bad is the worst thing, and it's a plight on YouTube.
Look at the beautiful bald head of his.
It is a beautiful bald head. Some people in the comments thought I was insulting Ari when I said this. It's like, they just don't know Ari's stream. Everyone comments on the fact that he's bald and everyone loves it. So it's just kind of a funny inside stream joke for him. So any Ari viewers would know.
So, no, 100% can eat my dick. 100% is boring as fuck.
So why include that if I'm trying to hook people onto my, you know, the videos? When I include somebody saying, yeah, fucking stupid. This run sucks. It's horrible. Would never 100% it. It sounds awful. I found it funny. That's the only reason it's in there. It's by every metric. I should not have included that clip. But fuck it, I like it too much.
So, it looks like any strategies they use would not be too insightful for my run.
Okay, small thing. Somebody got so triggered in the comments that I used the word they there to refer to Maynard. Maynard's a perfectly happy cis dude as far as I'm concerned, who goes by he, him. I just like using they instead of he, him, / she, her, because it's variety in speaking. That's just how language works. People were just like, are you respecting someone's gender-neutral pronouns? I'm like, bitch, it isn't even that. First off, you should respect someone's gender-neutral pronouns if they go by them. But second all, that isn't even what was happening here. Like, it's just somebody with political brain rot who sees pronouns other side and then stop thinking. Like, they don't consider context for 1 second.
When a series has over 2,000 entries, you gotta start somewhere.
Me making a joke that 2016 is the number and not the year it was released, I am so original. To be fair, it's the intro. I'm just rapid firing out these quick lines just to get into it, so. Actually, fun fact. The titles for introducing each level were originally not in the video. If I actually go all the way over here, yeah, here it is. It's in Amora. The reason why Amora doesn't have a funny tagline for a subtitle is because Amora was the first one I introduced this, because I thought the transition was too wonky in my script. So I'm like, I need some filler. Why don't I just put a little title card for the level? And then eventually I realized after doing all these title cards that, wait, I can use them for jokes. You can make it twofold. You can have it serve a purpose for the audio and be something funny. I couldn't think of a good subtitle for Amora, honestly, so I just kind of kept it there. I just kept it the serious one. I mean, it's the end of the video. I can be a little serious for the last level.
What you see is what you get.
I maybe should have made a joke about this because I knew it was going to happen. Some dickwad is going to be in the comments being like, yeah, I could have called bullshit. You skipped some enemies in the first 2 levels. Like, what the? I want to see somebody where they do all the content, not 100% of it. Dude, the run's 6 hours long. The first 2 levels are only 10 minutes, and then we don't skip, like, a single combat encounter after? Like, do you want me to deal with the crap shit RNG of early Doom 2016?
We have a technique known as paper clipping.
Why is there so much static in that line? Maybe I accidentally applied an audio effect in editing or something, but that's just weird. Yeah, something like that, where it's like, if there's a long trick of a lot of downtime, just speed it up when you're falling. Like, I feel like that works very well. One small thing, I don't know why, but the T in tower, I changed color because I'm just like, oh no, that tower has red light. So what if this T, which is a tower, has red light? It makes sense. Like, also just me literally stealing the joke I've had on my Doom 2016 splits ever since I started running. The level that's up to something, huh? It's funny because we go up.
Boost that require us to pick up loot 200 and 500 times respectively.
Excuse me, streamer, that's 300 and 500? Video's fucking worthless.
This is called banana skip, because the strut we jump on looks like a banana.
Needed the controller for this shot. Fuck. People were right. Like, don't get me wrong, it's way better than my previous video. It could be better. It could be better, and that's the important thing, people. We're looking for improvement today, not for competency.
Trust me, I'll grab it at some point, I'm sure. Yo.
I make that joke too often, the foreshadowing joke. It's just such an easy joke of when you allude to something you'll say in the future, just bam, foreshadowing on screen. And it's just like, it's like quick subversion, which may not be the best part of it, but whatever.
All combat from here on out focuses on the effectiveness of these 3 weapons.
I'm actually kind of proud of that little edit thing of just having the weapons come in just so that you're focused on them. Here's the thing, there's no such thing as a hard edit. The only thing that's really hard about editing is like having a bunch of small edits that combine together into something big, because each individually is not too hard. But like getting to the spin, getting them to get on screen, the slight blur in the background so your focus is on the PNGs, like this is probably my best work of editing, like this video, period. And it's an hour long, so I'm really proud for that. This was just the background footage I saw, and then in the run, I just didn't pick up a chainsaw pickup.
In about a level.
It's such a small thing where I just put not enough chainsaw idiot here. It's like only on there for like 2 frames. But if you do notice it, it's funny. And if you don't notice it, the video still stands on its own. So it's nice playing off my idiocy, you know?
We are unstoppable. Well, until we aren't.
I don't know why, because you could tell from the music and my tone of voice that we're building up to like a montage or something. Yeah, subversion. Bam, no music. We're invincible until we're not. Because, like, that's just true, right? Like, how'd I put it, people? Here's another fun fact. I'm immortal until proven otherwise. Also, Prototype Raptor made this remix of a game OST. It's been in my queue for montages for weeks, but I never got to where it quite fit, and I thought For this video where I'm doing a bunch of montages, I could just play some of my favorite music in the gameplay. That's basically the thing. I really respect my music taste, people. Like, I love my music taste. So this is like a platform for me to be like, look at this song that I like, guys. Aren't I cool for liking it? Like, Ultrakill reference, baby. Is that an Ultrakill reference? Oh my god. Now I'm an Ultrakill tuber, so, you know, it all comes full circle. It comes full circle. But I don't know why, but because we glory kill from above, that just reminded me of Mario Goomba stomping, so that's why I implemented it. Just a small little bit to distract from the fact that I've been talking for the last 2 minutes. The joke is that tile is fucking boring. That's the joke. Do I regret making this bit? No, this bit is great. This bit is fantastic.
And we're in the last level of the mid-game, the Armed Response Coalition.
Okay, for people who don't know the joke, there's 2 arcs in Doom. In Doom Eternal, there's Arc Complex, which stands for the Advanced Response Coalition, which is, you know, Earth's defense force. And this one, that stands for Advanced Research Complex by completely coincidence. I swapped them with each other because I found it funny. That's it.
Room clear. I like to call the ammo it uses Karen. And
such a stupid fucking... This is what happens. I write myself into a corner by doing the BFG stands for definitely not big fucking gun. I use that too much, and then I come up with a silly line, and then I write myself in a hole. It's like, fuck, I gotta think of a joke. Yeah, if it's a girlfriend, what's an annoying girl that clears a room? Her name's Karen. Actually, not too bad of a joke, I guess, because it's a small one. So, you know, small jokes don't have to, you know, blow out the park every time. They're just added for variety.
JK, not dead, lol.
Yeah, so for people wondering where that bit came from when I did the GDQ run of this, I did that bit because I wrote it in my script for this. I had the script finalized. I think I was about 30 minutes done with editing when I got that. I just reused a lot of these jokes for the GDQ run because, you know, why not? It's not like people who watch GDQ run are gonna watch this, right? Nah, a lot of people actually who watched the GDQ run did see this video. I got a few comments about that, so there's some crossover.
welcome to...
Super small detail, but when lightning strikes, the stroke changes. It's just a funny little thing that I thought to add.
Gazing upon an ancient slab.
Oh, I'm surprised nobody mentioned this. You guys know Courage the Cowardly Dog. There's Return the Slab or Suffer My Curse. And then this is the guy who's like the ancient spirit that causes the curses. Surprised nobody mentioned this in a comment so far.
A vision. So we look in between these two pillars and...
I feel like I'm doing that thing where I cut off my words a lot. I cut off my words a lot. You know, something like that. I don't know if that's a bad speaking pattern, but it just feels weird when I swap between them, because sometimes I, like, go between the two intermittently. I don't know, weird thought. Not really too relevant.
So go to hell, like I am right now.
Haha. See, sometimes I'm ahead of the YouTube commenters for the responses the common responses they'll have. Is it known the exact way they fixed the BFG thing in Eternal? I think they manually slow down the tick rate, which is weird. The BFG actually does have FPS dependence, but it doesn't have time slow dependent. They kept it at being FPS dependent, but they just adjusted the code when you slow down time. It's a super weird freaking thing. Like, why not just make it go at a tick rate? They made a complicated solution. There's probably some code reason to why it wouldn't work if they made it non-FPS based, but I don't know.
Killing you and giving you slow motion to react to your fatal danger.
Fatal damages. I have no idea why I kept fatal damages in there. I think it was originally a flub.
And you know where this means.
Okay, small thing. You know where this means. How did I miss that? You know what this means. Why I just miss? Okay, you missed one word, and that was like the first like big flub line like in 30 minutes. I'll take it. I'll take it. That's a good return rate. Vega as seen on TV. I don't even know why. I think I was just super struggling with the subtitle for this like this section. So I don't know. I just did something basic as seen on TV. I mean, you do kind of see them in your HUD, so like there's more going for that joke than
we're at the
shut up.
Stretch
Shut up. Yeah, there's not really a lot to talk about at the end of the Doom 2016 run, because it's just BFG everything. Everything interesting happens like up until this, like the last 4 levels. Like It's just how it be.
Daddy to get enough energy to tear a hole in hell, and no, I will not be explaining that.
I still like that line. That makes sense if you know the lore, but out of context, it's funny. Thank you, Bloodshot, for giving me this great fuel for this subtitle. I'm still surprised with how slick that editing was.
It's called liberation, because if you fail it, you are liberated from your run.
Like, see, like, I don't know why, but when I watch this, I just don't get the, this popping up somehow just doesn't bother me because I timed it in sync. Like, it's strange. Fuck. Okay, this is epic music. I think this is Fodlan Rain from, the Fire Emblem Three Houses OST. And I just needed, like, epic music to try to set up, like, oh, I'm gonna do this trick, I'm gonna get it. Then I fucking die. This is the first time I've done something like that with music, really, so I don't know. I think it turned out relatively well. It's such a stupid edit. This is such a stupid joke.
Yeah, honestly, Tony Hawk has nothing on me.
It always counts for the BFG. Here's the thing, Scythe. It does count for the BFG. Only splash damage on the BFG. Tendril damage doesn't count. And why the fuck would you splash damage the Barons? Hell, on PC, you get so many FPS that if you fire it, like, in a Baron's face, it'll die from tendril damage before it splashes. So that's, like, only a thing if you limit your FPS or do have console. It is technically doable by the BFG, but it's not usefully doable.
So clearly, I'm way more competent at Eternal than 2016.
One thing I kind of don't like is how I use screenshots there. I wish I just used text because then I can make it more homogeneous. But yeah, the screenshots were slightly, which ain't the biggest issue, but it's just like, there's no reason why I couldn't have just done text. I don't need to show the screenshot for that. Like, people won't doubt that I'm lying about my hours, right? What? I get it if I was saying like 20,000 hours in Doom Eternal, but 2,000? Like, no, that's actually less than average for a speedrunner, basically.
Meanwhile, Eternal was sitting here after doing a line of coke out of a stripper's ear canal and tells you, no health, no problem.
I don't know where that line came from. I don't know. So, don't ask me how the term... Don't ask me how the phrase sniffing coke out of a stripper's ear canal ever came to existence. I don't know. It entered my head. You can't control your thoughts, people.
You can freeze enemies.
Were you drunk at the time? That implies that I was once sober, Itami. No, I literally just went to one of Mute's VODs where they were grinding 100% UN. And I just looked at like the first like 4 hours of footage. All of it was hell on earth. So I literally imported all that into the video and set editing software, sped it up 1,000 times and just played it because like Mute's a good gamer, which means they can't get a bad hell on earth. So they reset here so often.
I want something as consistent as my upload schedule is not.
Dude, make a reference to I'm a bad YouTuber. I've done it all. I've done all the YouTube things.
So, if you see me being bad, just know that it's all planned and intentional.
I feel like when I say it's all planned and intentional, I should have had like a winky face on the screen or something, like an emoji or something. Because I don't know. Some people might interpret me as serious, but I thought I was jovial there.
Like this boost.
And still one of my freaking favorite skips in like the whole run. Like that... What's that called? Weaver skip was like the most swag thing ever found.
I like this as it's less of a toll on my monkey brain.
Speedrunner bringing up how they have monkey brain so often. Use the same joke twice. That joke was 40 minutes ago, streamer. You can't use that again.
We get onto the train level. Yes. Woo! The train level lasts 10 seconds.
Eventually, okay, so this is a weird video essay thing that I will eventually make. I have got a draft of a script in my files. I want to make a general video that's just covering like in general why train levels are so good. That's kind of I love train levels. Train levels are some of my favorite levels in all of gaming. And I kind of want to explain why. And so being excited at all the train stuff and then being disappointed is actually just me speaking truth. Why the heck is this the most replayed? I don't know. That text appearing in the top left is a little clunky. I should have probably had a VO saying that we're going to try to stun lock this boss to oblivion or something and then list the stuns if I was going to do it. But it still functions on its own. It just doesn't flow as well as I wanted to, right?
But wait, Rytro, there's 2 of them.
I should do a whole stream in that voice. Hey guys, it's Rytro. Oh, burst damage stun. Oh, it's the second phase. Aww. Like, wouldn't that be awesome?
Doom Eternal.
I have no idea. It's just somebody, like one of my split names for Super Gore Nest was just up there. And somebody was like, make Super Gore Nest say called Shawarma Fest or something. I was like, okay, that's funny. We'll put it in. I do a lot in this montage of basically, I pay attention to the weapon animations. And then I cut on the same weapon animation from one area to the next, which I think just flows well for a montage. It's one thing that I really need to do more. But every time I do that, it's like, that's way better than just randomly cutting.
The Hell Priest decided to hide, like, really, really good. Like, way better than before.
Isn't that just, like, one of the most biggest shoehorns of bad writing practice of, oh, why can't the Celestial Locator locate the Hell Priest? No. You can't locate it. No, but like, why? I have this divine thing blessed by a betrayer and King Novik. Why is that unable to get a Hell Priest? Dude, he's just like hiding like really well. Like, come on, dude. He's just like hiding like really well. Like, come on. You have to have like, he has a magic shield around him that is blocking our sensors. Like, you just need one line. Like, come on, dude. It's that simple. I always assumed it couldn't track across dimensions. Sentinel Prime is a planet. It's a planet in the universe. You can just go there. How did Samuel Hayden know where the priest was? He knew. What aren't you getting? He knew. Why? You don't need to know more than that. He just knew. That's what this game does. It commits like one of the biggest writing sins of it. Makes exceptions to rules without properly justifying it. And then there's just random people who just know stuff. Why? Because they do. There's no other reason. It's basically just for plot. That's what I meant when I said Doom Eternal has bad writing, because stuff like that happens all the time. Wait, why have exceptions to rules when you don't have rules in the first? Yeah, that's kind of the thing. If there's a school of writing where it's like, just don't explain anything, and then there's nothing to poke holes in. You could just do it. Yeah, but Doom Eternal doesn't do it well because it sets up, you know, like very fundamental rules and then just, blah, fine.
This game, it's the BFG, the Bingus for gentlemen.
Don't ask. BFG can't stand for big fucking gun people. It's just that simple. There was a stream I wanted to do where it's basically one stream. I would sit down and I would watch a bunch of the popular Doom Eternal videos. Then I like spliced it up, released that as a video as like Speedrunner reacts to all Doom Eternal content. And then it's just basically me going through videos being like, this is a valid point. I know because I have X number amount of time in this game and this is how this mechanic works and all that crap. But yeah.
Now, this man may be GOAT with the shield, but Gladiator, more like Badiator.
Okay, I'm surprised nobody made the obvious joke that this guy is GOAT with the shield. Like, it's a simple thing, but it's actually witty when you think about it, which is my type of humor.
So the rest of the level goes like this. We BFG, we shoot, we BFG, we Crucible. Fuck, I mean Crocobile. But the Crocobile...
when the mask slips slightly. Because I planned to call it the Crocobile all that time, and then during the line read, I actually read it correctly. I'm like, that was actually a genuine, like, oh, fuck, I'm supposed to say Crucible, like, Crocobile.
Instantly refill our health and ammo. However...
Seriously, like, what the fuck were the devs smoking that thought that was balanced? Which is so weird, because I remember on launch, casually, a lot of people struggled with the Con Maker, which was so weird to me. Like, literally, there are enemies with infinite health and ammo scattered across the arena. Like, come on.
This level is not too
I knew this was coming because I have Sintuition.
complicated.
Underappreciated joke. Okay, one thing about that Ancient Gods logo, that doesn't exist anywhere online. I photoshopped that. Because there's no good Ancient Gods logo, so I was like, fuck it. I Thanos moment, I put on the glove, I'll do this myself, you know? But yeah, normally there's like a part 1 or a part 2. There's no for all of them. So I was like, okay, let's make it yellow, and then let's move this up a little. It took like, a few minutes of Photoshop. This is such a stupid joke. This is such a stupid joke, but I love these like small little things that you can glance over.
It will be as fast as the Arbalest.
So the reason why I got really technical here and like tutorial like on how to do all this is because I didn't really have any documentation. We don't really have any documentation about how Destroyer Blade, Double Destroyer Blade, Fast Destroyer Blade stuff works. So, well, I mean, we do in like a technical document sort of thing, but like it's not known to the masses. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just going to make this part of my section so that if people can learn from it while also being a part of this other project. So I don't have to make another glitch explained video. Gosh.
This has been Funny Marauder Kills, signing off.
That was a last minute addition. Funny ways to kill a Marauder, because I never went over Marauder quick kills. I felt like that was a missed opportunity. It's like, what the frick can I add in? Yeah, Price is Right parody. Let's do this. I don't know why specifically it had to be Price is Right, but it did. So I had to figure out how to do like a sound graph, which was a little weird, but I found some program that could do it. Just because I wanted, like, okay, the focus is on the music. Because it's a quick, like, 180 flick, and I did it at the same point in the animation, it just flows really well. I kind of want, like, whenever I do montage, like, this to be literally every transition if I can. At least I'll aim for that in the future.
Titan rises up to a platform.
Makes me think and wonder why. Like, why did they decide, like, the boxes to be a boss? I'm guessing what happens is they had a way better boss fight planned, and then they just ran out of time and just, we need a boss, get the boxes!
Good game. Good game.
Yeah, I think that scene's a little longer than I want it to be. However, it's near the end of the video, so you're allowed to be a little long, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it just, y'all, is simple. You just get a crash, and you're like, it's funny, and I want that reaction in there a little bit, but I probably should have put it like a on Twitch indicator, or like a Twitch like background sort of thing to make it more apparent, but
Unlucky
it works.
Where the game Hayden, more like Hades nuts when I punch you in the mouth, and he disappears out of embarrassment from getting ligma'd that hard, and we resurrect the.
That is such a stupid joke. Like, it's a little, it's like there's something there, but like, it's so silly because like, why am I putting a random D's nuts joke an hour into the video?
So it turns out demons are still on Earth. Looks like us stopping the invasion from the base game meant fucking nothing.
This is such a freaking writing like, you stop the demonic invasion. And now they're just here and they're teleporting in all the time. Where else are they fucking coming from? These aren't just like straggler demons left on Earth. Like, no, they teleport from hell. Some specific demons only from hell can be here. Like,
it was to make the DLC longer, obviously, you nerd. Quit thinking about it. So this level is just a final rush.
I don't know why, but I like bringing up objections with like no clear answer, and like I like speaking to myself in like a two-way conversation. The response to when you just have all these criticisms and like objections and all that stuff, a lot of people just take the attitude of don't think about it, and I think that's a fucking stupid response. Actually, I kind of want to touch on this. This is a transition effect that I use actually a lot. If I don't think that what I have for my footage or my script or stuff will flow well into the next footage, what I instead do now is I put like a slide or a push or something transition so that the visuals are transitioning if everything else isn't. So we get that feeling that, okay, this is something completely different. I bet they teach that in film school or video editing school or whatever the fuck artsy program, but I didn't go to art school. I'm a physicist, classically trained, so like...
have literally 0 HP.
By the way, some people use literally to exaggerate. I'm not exaggerating there. Demonic troopers have 0 HP. They will die to a 0 damage instance value. The meat hook does 0 damage, but it counts as a damage instance.
Place to have combat arena, store, lorry, all that other jazz.
Okay, so that was a flub line. It's supposed to be, you're supposed to have story and lore there, but I said store and lorry, so I kind of flipped like the later part of the words there. I was like, fuck it, that's funny enough, I'll keep it in.
And chat wearing down.
Literally zooming in on a random part of the conversation where we're talking about anime tits. Unironically, during the run, we had a whole conversation on anime boobs and how they're way too big and they ruin my immersion. That was... So in case you're wondering, I just wanted some out of context chat message, so I just zoomed in when this conversation was happening. I was relatively light on the editing here. Well, for one, it's the end of the video. Two, the whole point of this fight, the whole tech is the damage cycles. So I leave in the damage cycles, that's like 90% of it because that's the whole boss fight, right?
Much like an anime, I beat this god. If you know anything...
That is true. The plot of most anime involves dethroning God. That's all I'm saying. You had a blue name there. Seeing people from chat in videos. Don't you guys feel kind of like a little bit like a celebrity when you see your chat message in one of the videos? Like Does it ever excite you, or is it more like, oh, whatever? I had like, I think in a Small Ant video, I was in his chat and he answered one of my questions and it made it into the video. And I just remember that vividly. All right, so that one, I don't know. Like, I didn't know how to end this video, so I was just like, fuck it, you beat my time. You do it. You won't.
Proper, manage, uninstall, fuck this game forever.
You know what's the funny part? Gather footage for this video, which I started making immediately after this run. Had to reinstall Doom Eternal. Had to do it for the lols, though. Had to do it for the lols.
Be the first person to subscribe to my Patreon, or
That wasn't a joke. I didn't have a Patreon supporter before this video. Literally become the first person. Which is weird. I've had like a few patrons, but only one of them sticks around. The others just like, how I always view Patreon and this type of stuff. Like, I think it's perfectly fine as long as like you don't give too many benefits for it. I think I don't like content gatekeeping, like donation. Like, if you want to support me, throw me a few bucks, do that. I'm not gonna give you any special. The most things I can make you feel special is you got a special channel in the Discord. There you go. That's about it.
of course, only watching is fine too, don't get me wrong. Provided you turned off the ad blocker, you unethical. All right, now that everyone.
I cut myself off before I called people who use ad blockers unethical fucks because I'm not ready for that freaking shitstorm. Okay, but to be fair, people, I think you cannot ethically defend using an ad blocker on like YouTube. On some websites where there's a bunch of predatory ads, understood. Like, fuck predatory ads. On like something like YouTube where it's like, okay, it's a video, you get an ad. Like, that's basically supporting their content. Like, and if you do that, you aren't really supporting. Like me, I have YouTube Premium because, and to be fair, I use YouTube Premium a lot. Well, for one, it's almost as if I don't pay for it because Google pays me. So it just takes it out of that paycheck, basically. And two, I watch a lot of fucking YouTube. I can't tell you. I use YouTube for everything. I use YouTube Music. I watch YouTube videos to go to bed. And hell, I think the perks outweigh it for me personally, just because of how much I watch. Ligma. In case you're wondering why the video ends with Ligma, it's literally because I couldn't think of anything. I originally wrote that thinking like, okay, maybe I'll have a special announcement or a trailer or like an image to showcase something or a funny meme. I'm just like, nah, I can't be fucked. I've spent 2.5 months editing this shit. I'm gonna end it on a Ligma. Why the fuck not? Okay, so this is a video about the Doom 100% tasks. So yeah, for people who don't know, Undeceiver made a segmented task, which is basically using slowdown, all that crap. And he was kind enough to let me like stream with it and make it into a video and all that stuff. So support to Undeceiver. But yeah, let's just get into it.
There exists.
See, the intro is, you think I'm gonna be like the explosion or something. No, I am all of Mars.
To the run with him and a few world record holders of Doom Eternal.
Some scrub with a YouTube channel. You know what's weird? The release date says March 19th, and I don't know why, because all the promotional material says that it's available March 20th, 2020. But the Steam page, 19th. I'm guessing it's because it went live at like 11:59 the night before or something. I'm not certain, but yeah, that date is just weird.
We only have to master 7 of them because there are collectibles that will master the remaining.
All right, so 7 of the 13 weapon attachments, that line, I'm actually I'm getting very good at audio editing at this point. Like, I'm able to do that. Like, I was able to edit in like me saying that from a different day because like, fuck, I got it wrong. I said 8 of the 15 weapons when it's 7 of 13. I just misremembered the number, so it's like, fuck, I gotta re-record. And then I was able to balance the audio to where I couldn't even tell that was different. I'm like, peak, I'm getting better. That's improvement, y'all.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Oh yeah, we had like some tech issues with like the watch together link so we ended up just Discord streaming. So the introduction was basically cut because it was got with tech issues. So I had to go in post and then record that to make it seem like, okay, we're starting now. So I do have to add in a little bit of VO to this, but basically everything you see from this point and time, like, is basically all audio from the stream.
A very good question. It wasn't to make something.
God bless Undeceiver. Like, great dude, let him be on stream and explain it to us. But like, my goodness, was his mic quiet and I didn't notice it. And in audio editing, I have to manually adjust all the gain levels just so that frickin' he sounded all right-ish. But I can't adjust that with the music because him and the music were on the same track in my audio, so.
A little over 3.5 minutes, sheesh.
See, that's what I mean when I like I use like a video transition to be like, okay, we're moving on to something else when tonally or audio wise it doesn't fit. Okay, so one thing I do hear a lot if you listen. Notice how it's just music. Goes to
Are you
talking.
sure it's faster?
There was talking throughout that whole trick, and that really distracted from the trick. My fucking goodness, we need to shut up and pay attention sometimes, because otherwise it's too distracting. So I spliced in level music and then faded in our commentary after the trick to where we just get the meat of our reaction. I had to do that. I'm not joking. Like every other clip, like probably more than that, like 3 out of 4 clips. Wait. Oh, this freaking clip especially. The audio here was something along the lines of, "Oh, can we rewind? Can we rewind?" It's like, yeah, we'll rewind after we watch the trick. However, I want to play it first in totality, and then it'll be fine. So that's what I did. I just spliced in the music and then kept like basically my bare minimum reactions because the other audio track was unusable with people just saying, "Can we rewind?" Yeah, okay. And people, you're right. I am complaining because I hate everyone else who's talking. Yes, that is true. All of them.
It's like, no, I want to clip.
I can't believe this game is making me play the intended route.
The only well collision section. I'm mad. Okay, a little behind the scenes. Not all of that was as quickly and succinct as that was. That's actually like a minute-long segment that I just trimmed out like parts and then kept the gameplay over top. So if you watch the stream, you'll see that clips I include from here from the stream, they may not be aligned visually because the visual in the stream wasn't relevant. So I edited in a visual one. Give me 1 second. Hi, people. Sorry about that. You want to know what actually fucking happened? You guys won't believe this. So my family knows I do YouTube and all that stuff. And I told them like, hey, don't bother me today because it's my 4-year stream anniversary. I'm just going to be streaming all day. Look what they fucking got me. My room's messy. That's why I have the green screen. But look at this shit. A big 4. They brought me balloons specifically. It's like a happy celebration. My family's insane. Yeah, shout outs to my sister Rachel and my mother and father. They're awesome. Suck that balloon, you dirty... No, you guys can't do this. This is wholesome. You can't make it not wholesome. That's not how it works.
That's like 30,000 map units.
I think actually...
What the how long is a map unit? I don't fucking know.
Why did they make extra lives warp you back?
Okay, a little bit of a funny side tangent there, but like that, I guess this is just true with all Doom speedrunners, right? Like we like parodying people who think that what we're doing is lame and stupid and not at all intended. But we take that to an absurdist degree to where it's like, oh, hey, all this was intended. Why else would the mechanics work that way? Because when you get into the intended argument, you go down this zig spiral hole of what's intended. And you can argue that everything in the game is intended because, like, the developers coded it. They made every mechanic. Like, a game is manufactured. It doesn't exist out in nature. You could argue that every single mechanic is intentional. Oh, fun fact. Actually, hold on. Let me rewind a little. These battery animations right here, they're no longer required. We had a vote, and we decided to ban all codices that aren't explicitly in the menu. Only ones that pop up with an additional one afterwards. And that's the whole reason why we got these 2 batteries. So in other words, if you run 100%, you have free 15 seconds of time save compared to literally every other run right now. Okay, if you're watching this video, there's a small outline of black around that, and that's an artifact from the Luma key I'm using. I tried to reduce that as much as possible, but if I wanted to, I basically would have to Photoshop, and I said, fuck it, I'm not Photoshopping it. So congratulations. Every time you get to the point in the video on a rewatch, you can unsee it.
Everyone hates external combustion.
It's the fucking most absurd thing ever.
I left that clip in primarily just because I wanted it to seem like we're a community, and we as a community hate external fucking combustion. It is the worst challenge. Did a good job with the video, thanks. A little bit disappointed with the views on it. Only 4.6K. I had to re-upload this, as you can see in the description. For people wondering why I re-uploaded, normally I apply a few filters to my audio tracks in order to, you know, make sure there's like no noise or anything like that. For whatever reason, for what this specific video, denoise fucked with my audio so much, and I didn't notice it because I apply it all at the end and then upload. So I went to rewatch this like a week later, and then I was like, oh fuck, it's wobbly audio. This actually gets in the way of enjoying the video. So it's like, Fuck it. It's not worth my ego. I'm just gonna re-upload it. Remove denoise, bounce the audio, deal with a little bit of hum. That's fine. What's worse if I'm swallowing like this because of fucking denoise thinking my mouth is noise for some reason, which it is. But it's noise that I like. Oh yeah, guys, it's that thin outline. You're gonna see it again. Ah, dude, I'm ruining everything about this video.
Whatever reason.
And more. This level's dev room.
Thanks, random dude on YouTube who had a dev room footage, because I can't go to 1.0. I have up-to-date graphics drivers. And if you run Doom Eternal, the base game, on version 1.0, literally it would hurt my eyes because the lighting doesn't work, barrels don't explode, and a bunch of other fucking problems. But, yeah, so I had to use someone else's footage.
That is nut butter, as Drake would say.
That line's from a little bit later. However, that's just such a preem, like, mute line. So I had to include it. This is one of your favorite videos, not gonna lie. Wait, really? Dude, that is fucking heartwarming. Thank you. I think this video turned out relatively well, but like I said, me having to re-upload it probably killed it in the algorithm. But it's a better product on my channel, and that's worth more to me than the initial algorithm bump. It's there, people. Even if you don't see it, it's there. Yeah, okay, so this might look blurry, people, and there is a reason for that. So Undeceiver uploaded all this footage in 1080p. And if you're a YouTuber worth your salt, you never upload in 1080p. This is because, for encoding, the encoder that works for 1440p videos and above has way less artifacting than the encoder for 1080p and below. They're two separate encoders. So what happens is that Undeceiver uploaded this to YouTube in 1080p, got the bad encoder, and I'm watching it on YouTube, and then I had to encode it again because that's how video editing works. So we're really seeing two encodings stacked on top of each other with 1080p footage. But yeah. So even if you have a 720p stream, for example, you want to upload it to YouTube in 1440p. So basically, in other words, just extend, double the size because you'll get a better encoder. So it will look like a higher quality 720p compared to otherwise. That's the logic behind it. Twitch doesn't like things past 9,000 bitrate. You're allowed to stream on 6,000 as an affiliate, 8,000 as a partner. And for people who know shit about, video encoding, hey, 8,000 or 6,000 bitrate ain't enough for 1080p footage. Usually that number sits around 12 to 1,300 depending on the game. Video hosting is expensive. Yeah, it's super expensive, dude. But yeah, it's very expensive. There are calculators online. Like a stream like here, like me, to 20, 30-ish viewers would cost them literally like tens, 20s of dollars per hour. Is it tens or 20s? It's more like a few dollars per hour. But yeah, I don't generate enough revenue for them to make that. Most streams don't. If I recall correctly, Twitch and YouTube is bleeding money due to its expense. Yes. Google has stated this multiple times. YouTube has never made money. But Google just loves the idea of having a video sharing monopoly so much that they find it worth it. Twitch is trying to be profitable by basically increasing ads, and there's no good way around it because video hosting is just so expensive. So they have to run an obscene amount of ads, which nobody wants. It's a fucked up situation to try to get Twitch or YouTube net profit. Like, I'm in an industry to where I'm making my parent company lose money. Yeah, Twitch's system for discoverability is kind of shit. But hey, that's how I got my early audience. So at least there's that. That's just because, like, I was one of the only Doom Eternal speedrunners, and Doom Eternal speedrunner was kind of big back in the day. And now I lost all those viewers. So if you're one of the OGs, say if you are. Like, where are my OGs at? Nobody's an OG.
Holy crud.
It's so weird how Mute, Drake, and I were basically the ones who found this combat duplication thing, and that it's useful in a task. That just blows my mind. That's one of the reasons why I love speedrunning. I am not a router. I am a person who I see what people are doing and then I implement it in my runs. So like I can count on one hand the amount of things I discovered in Doom Eternal because it's just not my priority. But I'm so glad that something I found is in 100% task and it's optimal. It's great.
So it has to do with the death plane, the large death plane that covers the whole of Earth.
Okay. So this explanation, Undeceiver does explain it pretty well. However, I needed some visuals to go along with it. I spent a lot of time in Photoshop and stuff trying to get a visual representation for a death plane. I have a lot of scrapped footage, but I figured like this short and sweet explanation was the best rendition of it.
Yeah. It makes sense. I have no questions.
So we do explain this a little bit later in the stream, like Quarth does that. I decided to cut it because I think it's just short and sweet if I just like You know, we give the general explanation, and then it's just me being like, yeah, makes perfect sense. There's nothing wrong with that. When I was gathering footage for this area, I just realized that the task footage wasn't good, so I actually set up some stuff in photo mode and actually got some nice shots to make it more understandable what exactly these BFGs are doing.
Plus all the heavies that are downstairs with this BFG shot. So this BFG shot skills a lot of stuff. And then
So with this scene and when Undeceiver was explaining it, the visuals on the task just didn't do because you couldn't really tell that there were enemies because they all die off screen. So I had to gather this footage by just, you know, doing a bunch of console commands, getting rid of UI, then just hitting a kill command at appropriate timings and the BFG and stuff. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Is that possible?
I'm so happy.
All right, so we're... This is how you know it. When we're just a fucking bunch of nerds, we're a bunch of speedrunners, and one of the things that gets us to react most is the menuing of the game. If this was a casual person, they would not glance at that, but we understand how fucking terrible, you know, menuing is.
this personally, and the bounties are easier than doing this whole run, by the way.
Yeah, a little bit. I know Undeceiver mentions that the bounty was happening, but I cut a lot of it, so I kept this like as part in the outro, just because like a lot of this video is me using his content, his hard work. So make sure he shouts out everything he wants to, you know.
Wait, when's the next event?
How did I put it? That is not unaltered audio. Literally for my local recording, after we ended stream, Mute and Quarth were like, when's the next event, dude? We should plan another one. And I was like, I'm not ready for this. Just leave. So that's not a Discord set. That is actually me leaving the call. So it's funny because it's real. That's the end of that video. How fast can you 100% Doom Eternal? Overall, I think in terms of pacing, it's one of my better videos. Like it's very upfront in the action and stuff. And then once you get to the highlights, all of it is just relevant visuals, and it's just snap back, you know, again and again and again and again and again. Next video, Nothing Stops. Play the video from the beginning. Wait, why is there timestamps? What? I didn't put these timestamps. What the fuck here? YouTube, are you drunk? I'm just like, I get it if there's like big title crawls, but these are just subtitles. Well, I guess I'll use this as an excuse to talk about GDQ a little bit. Shovel Claws. I actually met them, IRL at GDQ. I went to dinner with a friend, and Shovel Claw was a mutual. They're cool, dude. Kind of why I included them here is because, like, okay, new person I met, get put up in the video. It's sentimental that way, right? Yeah. Oh, also Joker, who hosted my run, hosted Shovel Claws' run, so that's pretty cool. This Borderlands 2 run was awesome too. Shoutouts to the gamers, Deceptics, and Unjust Action. I hung out with them a lot over the course of that week, and they're great. I met Deceptics at a previous GDQ. But if you look right here, oh, look at this person in the background. Whoever could that be? It's me. I scammed you all. I was in the background of it. I'm using this all for my selfish gains. This is a stream about a stream about a stream. Yes, it is turtles all the way down. The weird thing about this video, because Hugo wasn't on screen, I wanted him to have a little bit of an on-screen presence and his words to come through a little bit more, which you don't get with visual. So my solution to this was subtitles. Every time Hugo would speak, I'd just put subtitles over us. This turned out to be one of the biggest pains. Working with subtitles is actually way harder than I expected. Maybe it's just because I haven't done it before. You can't tell me how many times I've had to auto-subtitle, correct the subtitles, reframe the words so that it doesn't block anything important and shit like that, you know? So here's the thing. I wasn't expecting to get Hugo on Couch because I guess Hugo's like the front man and all that jazz. I was just wanting a dev. In fact, I think I was talking with Bloodshot a little bit. I think we'd prefer to have someone on who actually knew a lot of the programming, who did some of that. Because with some of the glitches, we'd be interested to pique the programmer's mind about how exactly do you think this works and all that stuff. Hugo, he's an ideas guy. He's creative director. He doesn't do much coding. He just like, he's an idea guy and then has other people flesh out those ideas and they check back to see if it meets his vision and all that stuff. I was nervous as shit. Yeah, story. I got some people who complained in this video that they didn't like the sections where I cut to my stream and my commentary over it. At the end of the day, it's Hugo Martin and me. It's both of us. The story is about both of us, so I need to have my part. Nah, people are just allergic to anyone who isn't someone they recognize. Like, that's just basically how it is. Because, like, these little segments, they give a lot. Especially this one explains my behavior a lot because I have never been more stressed. Excusing one time. I've never been more stressed than literally right before this run.
Oh, we ran out of time.
So I tried to find any excuse to put footage, like, to the next to me. Or a zoom. I cut a lot of camera angles because I feel like it's just a visual change equals any change that's good. Like, there's definitely an environment where people would listen to this, like, all the time and all that crap. But that's, like, podcasting. I'm kind of relying on people will want to do the visual element of the video. They'll see it. So I need to make it kind of interesting. I wish I could just do a podcast format, just have gameplay in the background as I talk about something. But, yeah, I don't know. I have too much pride in my work to just kind of stop it there. I'm saying I can be enjoyed in a podcast-style format when I start a podcast. Will that ever happen? Probably. Foreshadowing is a literary... Just kidding. I don't have any plans to do... I want to do a podcast. I just need to, get a good co-host. I don't think I found the right people that would be structured around that, but I'd be interested.
Props to Hugo for being chill about constantly being interrupted and ignored.
There's so many people who agreed with this in the comments section, believe it or not. So, like... I don't think they know how conversation works, especially with somebody that you can't see. Like, I'm not able to determine by body language or visual language or, you know, facial expressions if someone wants to talk. They can't see me for if they know if I want to interject, so we have to talk over each other. That's just kind of how calls go, right? Be chill about constantly being interrupted. Like, we always acknowledged him, but it's just like we had to cut something short because a trick was about to happen, right? Which is so weird, because people say, we want to hear from Hugo. But what Hugo says in this is basically, like, nothing akin to what he hasn't said in, like, a public interview or something. So that's just a little weird. Every time he mentions speedrunning, and that, you know, we don't patch content and all that crap, it's stuff that we've heard before. I'm pretty sure I've heard that exact spiel like 3 times by just the content that I watch. It's just like, he hasn't said anything too unique there. It's more just here because his reactions to stuff is what we want. Not necessarily his random tidbits, but I want to see him in response to us rail boosting, stuff like that. You can't get his reactions to speedruns anywhere else though. And that's kind of why I wanted to focus on the speedrun because like, if you want to interject if someone's over speaking and you want to, what are your options? Do you just let them finish? Like, what if your thing is time? Like, you could, that's why I do the it to be like as a small vocal reminder that like, hey, I kind of want to say something. You should finish that thought quickly. Like, that's not interrupting. That's just kind of how you have to communicate if you don't see the person, right? I think my videos are quite, like, well put together if you're looking at, like, the objective standard of video making. If you're talking about flair and personality and stuff on top of that, it's just I don't excel at that. I gotta get my own style, in other words.
But it's like a different thing than what GDQ is, you know?
I find it so weird how people just can't grasp the topic. Like, people can't separate that what they want and what something is can be 2 separate things. Something doesn't have to be always what you want. I don't know. I want to see Goku punch Doom Guy into the sun. Is there anything wrong that I'm watching this video and it's not Doom Guy punching the sun? No. If you said that to me, I would think you're crazy.
I guess Retro really wasn't exaggerating when he called himself a god gamer.
Awesome. Favorite part of the video? Dude. I still can't believe that fucking happened. I still just can't that it went that wrong. But hey, even the fact that it went that wrong and it was still a good time, like, hey, there's value in that, you know? Like, this run is an equivalent to a hospital burning down. It's a bad thing. It's bad. But goddamn, would I love to watch a hospital burn down, you know? In the sense of the spectacle of the fire, of the flames roaring and all that stuff, I think it'd be enjoyable. But, like, it'd be fucked up that a hospital, like, is on fire. But, you know, the act of burning is kind of it. Like, I view that it's the same way here. One thing you don't notice is here, I accidentally grabbed the heavy cannon. I don't think I talked about this in the stream. I'd have no idea why I grabbed it. It's just because of my stress levels, man, making me think differently. Yeah, I've never grabbed this since I played casually. Yeah, me doing the is like me looking at Bloodshot and Meta being like, yeah, dude, I don't know what's fucking going wrong. I am dying right now.
Skip stuff. Want to point out a chat message to see?
Okay, a little bit about that whole bit where I explain rail boosting. I decided last minute to include that in the video. It's a good explanation, it's fine, but I was debating whether I wanted this to be more focused on Hugo, the GDQ experience as a whole. I decided to be the GDQ experience as a whole when I first intended this project, but then I shifted more to Hugo, like, probably should be priority, and I ended in, like, a middle ground where I want half and half. Like, if it wasn't directly relevant to the run / stream / everything, I just ignored it. Oh, one small thing. The background music track that's playing is a lo-fi remix of At Doomsgate, like, for the entire video. I just need that because I just hate when there's, like, dead silence in a video or something. So I'm like, I need some background track at, like, minus 35 decibels. That's just sitting there. That's just there in case your mind wanders while I'm talking. What's the weird part is like, I apply so much criticism to myself over the course of this video. And people are like, why did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. This was a blunder. It's like, dude, did you watch the fucking video? I go over it and what's the faults with it and how to improve. I apply more criticism than most. It's just like fucking insane to me that people still want like, oh, hey, the run sucked. Why did you do, like, bitch, I already applied the same criticism to myself 5 separate times in the video. What the fuck do you think you mentioning it one more time will do? Wait, Inception shit right there. He's reproducing by ritrosis. Oh my god. Can we as a community decide that it's not growth mindset? It's not like getting more viewers. It's not getting more subs. It's not, you know, getting more likes on the video. It's I'm expanding by ritrosis. That's the new phrase, people. And now that I said that I want that to be a thing, it will never be a thing. Reverse psychology,
No,
bitch.
it's fine.
I don't know. Some people might view it as a little bit negative that I'm always criticizing me, but like I feel like the only way you really improve at something is through looking back and criticizing yourself after the fact, right? Yeah, it might be a negative outlook if you're just considering the fact that like I'm insulting my previous self or something. You got to look at the intent. The intent is so that it doesn't happen again, which is a positive thing. People who view it negative, I just say that they lack perspective. Like
Hugo saying, I have to go grab
I'm just
a
vibing
snack.
at this point, people. I feel like there's not
Everyone is
much to
having
add here,
such
so
a
we're just
good
having a watch
vibe.
party.
I think-
If somebody was reacting to my video like this, I'd be mad. But it's my own video, so I'm exempt. Okay, one thing that really kind of upsets me is how I did this image. I wanted something to recognize them be on the screen, but I think I should have spaced them. I need to find a way, I guess a Photoshop program or method or methodology of how to make all these PNGs like the same height, same width, and then evenly space them over across the period. I don't know. I'm not skilled enough with Photoshop to do that yet. Every time I try to evenly space stuff, I feel like I'm always slightly off and it bothers me.
Yeah.
Looked evenly spaced until you mentioned it. That's the point. Congratulations. I'm ruining all of my videos for you.
Yeah. A lot of people just assume he had to be haphazardly in. No, this was months in the making.
Here's the weird thing, because some people, like, the biggest complaint I got with this video that I think is kind of valid, you know, the one that I think, like, there's some truth lying under the surface, is that they didn't like how I interject with my context all the time. But then I think about me reading these chat messages, getting chat's reaction to anything, and it really adds a lot to the video, so... I don't know, I guess what I'm saying is, like, I don't know how I could fit the same style of video while applying that. Like, we don't want to see your face criticism, you know, because that's always perfectly valid.
Level was designed by David Fargo.
So that's my arch nemesis, who's entered many of my runs. Okay, so we're gonna meet
David
Samuel
Fargo,
Hayden.
that's
If
the
I
name
meet
will
Samuel
forever
Hayden, I
live
mean,
in.
skip
If I
his
ever
guts.
die in UAC when I'm
So
casually
gonna just
playing, I will
wiggle
curse
at
his
this, looking for
name.
the ex-
Dude,
Yeah,
dude,
they're
I'm
not-
gonna mess up in Ultrakill one day, like in like violence, and I'll say like, screw you, Fargo!
I'm going to try to clip back
Hold
in
on.
back later after
Small
you get
thing.
done talking to.
Look at how much I flick my wrist.
Down to was the elevator.
I don't know why, but in my mind, like, that is the most effeminate way to flick your wrist ever. And I'm just like, he flicks his wrist like a girl, you know? That's just me.
Designing / balancing the BFG in this game as we're about to get to it.
We don't. Basically,
It's always so weird because responses like that, like, emotionally perform so well for me, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you gotta realize that that's, like, shit game design, though, right? Like, because I struggle to find an argument that says the BFG is good, right? The only thing where I convinced that the BFG is, like, good is in the, Like, the old Dooms maybe, because those games are all about resource management, but these games are not about resource management. Why would you?
That was definitely incredible, but
Here's the thing. I actually think Hugo's lying here, or okay, lying's a bit extreme. Is misremembering here, because I think he only seen like the Doom Eternal speedrun, not the Doom 2016 80%. Somebody give me 90,000 subscribers right now. I will petition id to get a few developers on, and then we'll all watch the Doom 2016 any percent run together. I feel like that would be a banger video as well, but I just have a grocery list of things that would be awesome.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Here are the Hell Guards. These are Guardians of Hell.
When I hear like me saying stuff like that in that little rant, like even with me cutting it down and whatnot, it's just so obvious I had a speech impediment when I was younger. Like, that's basically the only thing that's going through my brain. Fun little thing about this document that I actually show on screen. This was back, we prepped this document initially for Mute's run of Doom Eternal 100%. And we just kept the document for whenever this showed up. This was actually like literally 2 years in the making.
Like a lot. And to be able to showcase the same run that arguably got me into FPS speedrunning, it means a lot. So
That's awesome, man.
Every time
Hugo,
every time I watch this scene,
Bloodshot,
I
everyone in
always
the
get
crowd.
emotional. I don't know.
appreciate
It's
all of
just,
you.
I empathize too much with myself.
Yeah.
That's just me feeling. That's not empathy. That's just feeling.
Good one. I was-
Hey people, how's it going? I'm back. Somebody else is here. You want to say hi?
It's me.
Who's me?
Oh, yeah, it's probably Irina.
Actually, wait. Should you explain what? Irina, in your own words, what do you do for me?
I edit about negative percentage of Ritro's video.
All right.
Technically, 0% of them.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I contacted you like late last year, and then ever since then, like basically we've been kind of in like a partnership almost, and then you got busy with school.
Yeah, focus on our career.
Dude,
Why
career's
though?
fucking cringe.
I know, dude.
Stop working, play video games. It is true. You guys don't know what Irina's cooking, but she's cooking a great video, I swear.
Oh, it's got parsley, it's got onions.
It's got time. Like literally, it's like 18 minutes, you know? That's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So we are looking at the Doom 0% run, which I go back and forth on what exactly I change titles all the time. It's currently now Doom, but I can't get any upgrades. But yeah. So
That's actually a good title. I like it.
yeah, well, here's the thing. Everything's a good title, but you want the best title, right? I want the statistically average title.
That's like the same mindset as there are no stupid questions. There are definitely stupid questions. There are definitely stupid titles.
And also stupid comparisons.
Okay.
So without further ado, anything you want to say about editing this, or
Nope.
just hit play?
No thoughts.
We're hitting
edit,
play.
Just Premiere Pro.
Just Premiere Pro. Just the PP projects, you know?
Just the PB project.
Okay, a weird thing, completely besides the point of anything. I literally, whenever I title something, I always, in editing, I always add PPP afterwards for Premiere Pro project, and it just sounds funny. All right, let's just get into it. Hit play.
All right. Yeah. Okay. There's no.
I zoom in and out.
You
Just
do quote unquote
with
everything
every
as
clip.
intentional as.
To be fair, I was talking about this. Zooms and a little bit of motion add just like a freaking lot to like keeping you
Yes.
visually interested.
Especially because the transitions are a lot of the time when I zoom in or out, it's to mask a transition because I can like, you know, if I transition it mid zoom, so they have the same zoom line, then you can't tell that there's actually like seconds between it. However, I do that with pretty much every clip, so it's a constant just motion sickness ride. I kind of upset.
Yeah, so this is just a rant with me explaining stuff, which
Possible.
I get
Though,
why
in
it's
the
here.
spirit of the
I think what you do
category,
now
I'm
when you
doing much the same
do
thing.
the editing,
I
like
haven't
you
done
get like
this
straight to
fighting
the point
about
all the
ever.
time.
Yeah.
Like we're 40
Yeah.
seconds in. That feels almost too slow compared to your current
Yeah.
editing, where like you get to the
Yeah,
point in
no.
like 10 seconds.
Because okay, when I edit videos for example myself, I do you know it's a very quick. Only the clips used that I think are actually so the videos are like 1 minute.
I remember telling you, it's like, I'm fine with slow editing. You don't have to do that. And you just like go full hog wild and be like, nah, I'm gonna do my regular editing, but for a 20-minute video. Why not?
Yeah, no. I love this audio track. It's so perfect.
I think this is
for,
worth the reset, people. I could
like,
probably
figuring
reset that.
things
I
out.
just didn't awful name for what it actually is. They call it 0%. Oh, that is a Hat in Time thing. Ah, okay,
Yeah,
neat.
yeah.
Okay.
I found that track by like searching through game tracks, and I was like, this is perfect for pretty much anything.
I use a Hat in Time all the time. I should use that track for something. That's actually not.
You have like a big collection of game music that I really wish to sift through one day.
Wait, want to right now? Hold on, give me a half a sec. I sort my music by genre.
Oh,
so
wow.
I have background.
What do you do if something is both?
If something is in both, I usually put it in both. Like, here are some music I used in my latest video, and I haven't sorted yet, so I just put it at the bottom. And I just, literally, I just go through, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit of a calm area. Go to the background, look for one of these that fits the mood that I want. And because I used to have it, where basically none of my music was sorted by genre, it was sorted by artist. And I could never find the fucking music I wanted for the situation, so I spent an afternoon and resorted through all of it. It's called 0% all combat rating, so... Ah, crap, that's...
I forgot about
idiot.
that.
I really jumped up there. I remember I specifically asked for that because it was not what it said, so like, you should probably say I'm a fucking noob or something. People, if ever was a time to gaslight me, this is like the perfect opportunity. Okay, I didn't think about this before, but that's an engineer that explodes from a gas leak. It fits so narratively. Bit of a clip here, because there's an Argent cell in there. Yeah, you know what's coming. Yeah, we both know. I actually do. Gotta just freaking. If there wasn't like Animal Crossing music here, this clip would be so awkward.
Skip. Let me get
I
in
know.
a little bit. Oh. I'm stuck. I don't want to say.
It gets me every time still. Like,
Been a while.
that is debatably one of your best edits.
I accidentally clicked that, I think. Aim more right and spam.
Wait, don't you miss? Yeah.
That isn't even missing. It's hitting him. It's just not killing.
Could you...
The reason why that happens actually is this level specifically. It doesn't count like full auto damage the same way as like regular stuff. I guess regular pistol fire works with that too. Because you notice like you won't kill unless like it's a direct headshot. But I guess with a pistol, it's so weak that even a headshot can't kill it. So. Okay, people, I'm giving up. This 90
I had
health.
to put the thing
77,
and then
so
the,
like, okay, only 10
the
off.
counter there because if I didn't, you couldn't tell that that wasn't just 3 clips. Well, 1 clip repeated 3 times. Because without that, you would literally think like, okay, well, it's just repeating the same clip. No, it's not. It's just the exact same death, you know?
I just realized, is math related to science? Does pi equal?
Yeah, I don't know. I like doing edits where you usually only can tell what the joke is when you pause it and then go like, wait, what was that?
Take that, sucker. That might have been a little bit of AI abuse on my part, and I do not regret it.
Verbally abusing a Hell Knight.
Nothing's preventing me from going back up, right? I'm just gonna go back. Okay, well, if the Hell Knight didn't want to be insulted, it should have wore something different. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like,
Oh, no.
I don't know. I like to play up the ego, I guess, in these challenge runs a little bit,
No,
just because I think like it's funny if I fail with such a big ego. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, one of my favorite things to do is to act like it's hot shit when I do the most simple thing in the world. That's also
Yeah, exactly.
How'd I put it? When you act like you're doing hot shit, when you gaslight, gatekeep, and girl boss is hard, like everything just becomes more entertaining. That's just how it be.
True.
These are the exact same face, I think. Literally the same. The exact same.
Quite literally, yeah.
From the top.
That's a big jug or whatever that was. What was that? Is that like a cinema cup?
Hi there. What, Irina, do you not like big jugs?
Come up here?
No, but I have this big thing. Here's the weird thing with this. I don't know if I can get this. It measures it in time. Like, this is how much you should drink before you before this increment in time, so you can keep pace with it.
Yeah. You got Imperial system. You got. And then you got time. You can also measure water in time.
Why am I measuring my water supply by 11 a.m.? Like, what the frick does that
What
mean?
about the 5th dimension? Love. Can you measure it in love?
I swear, don't get me on Interstellar rant, Irina. You don't push my buttons. Don't do it. 2.27 liters. That's what it is. I found the label.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Then I have a 2-liter jug at home because I also thought it would be useful to know how much water I should take. It does not look that tiny in my hands as it does for you.
It looks
gonna be honest.
tiny. Are you calling me
Yeah.
fat?
Coming from out of bounds to kill me.
Okay, that felt like that came from my mouth, but it didn't look like it did. Am I just a master, like, mouth manipulate? Like, how the fuck did I make those sound? Like, did you use... Did you use this audio from another clip and supplanted it on this one?
No.
He's coming from out of bounds to kill me.
Yeah, I don't know how those sounds come out of my mouth.
Maybe you're right. There's a small chance that you're right, but a lot of them I would edit and I'd look at your Facebook, I'm like, that doesn't match the audio, and then I would check if it was lined up or if I fucked up the audio, but it was fine. So there was some kind of desync issue. I swear. But there is a small chance I messed that up, but I think it's desynced, yeah.
I just want to think that every lip reader, like, I'm the villain, like, for them. Like,
maybe I'm crazy.
to be fair, I'm not that well in focus. I think this was okay. I had a bug with my camera during like the early parts, but like this happened for like literally 2 years. My camera would autofocus, and its autofocus was jack shit, so I'd be blurry all the time. I fixed that now. I'm a little bit more in detail, but yeah, that's what's going on here and why my webcam's just like super low quality with some of these zooms. It's just... Oh, Irina, I said this earlier, and I need to run it past you. If you ever get more popular, you get famous...
Okay.
You need to change your name to Iconic, Irina.
Wait, you said this before? When?
Earlier today. Like, we were...
Really? Wait. I have not touched any editing aside from the occasional short. Because I like being able to... I literally make the shorts because I'm like, you know what? It's very easy to go be at school and be like, hey, I remember that funny moment with my friends. And then I just go to a 15-second clip. It's good.
Exactly.
Because they take like... Those shorts take like 10 minutes to make. I'm gonna be honest, shorts are so fast.
Depends. Like, some of my scripted shorts have taken like upwards of like 45 minutes, but like I need to grab footage, script it.
I mean, yeah, but those are
you know.
Yeah. No, but you're talking about like the sausage skip one, for example, right?
Yes.
Need ammo? You don't need ammo. Yeah, how does that feel, huh? Yeah, better think twice before speaking again. And now...
Yeah, that's probably my favorite moment of the whole video.
It's just so
because
here's the thing, I throw it back like it's a big insult, but it's the most innocuous statement.
Like it's your mom joke, but it's just you don't need ammo.
I mean, anyone could attest who's watched. Like, I do that all the time, where I just snap back at people because I have no tolerance for weird comments. But
yeah,
like someone going in chat, Rytro, should I eat my dog? I did not make that up. That is a real comment in my chat right now. It's not cannibalism if it's on yourself. That would be my response. Thank you.
Are they just hiding down there?
I like how that's the theme of this run. It's just like, oh, so that's how they intended to do this.
Also, the plot analysis of these imps being stuck in the elevator. Like, they had no way. These are just enemies you get after going, but like, no, there's a story here of them being trapped. Like, it's...
I wonder how many people picked up on that and have thought the same way you have just now.
I don't think anyone has. I think it's literally just me.
Come on, dude. I don't have enough combat rating.
Okay, that zoom that you do, that's like, because I had to give you footage for that. That was just so clean, and I can't picture how exactly you did that with like a cross dissolve or something.
I don't have enough.
Because you just like, you act like you zoom through the chat.
Okay, so that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, is when I have two clips that have the same,
I don't have
like, you can, if you hold spacebar, you can go frame by frame. Basically, I set there's two clips, right? You cut it between the footage that we were looking at, and then the footage you gave me with the, you know? And so you give them both the same zoom effect, at the exact same keyframe, the same timestamps, and then you just get the exact same zoom, you know?
Okay.
That's how I do most of these shows. Like right there, it's zoomed in, but that was not immediately after. It was like with footage in between. You just yeah. But I do that with every clip because I think it looks clean, but because of that, it looks very distracting. I
think I'm going to steal that sometime.
It's very easy to make footage look like there wasn't time passing between the two clips. It's very easy to make it look like that was immediately after, and you don't think about it like, oh, it's a distract. But when you have like something that should be a continuation, however, you're cutting stuff in between so it becomes a jump cut, doing that zoom effect, it so easily makes it flow very smoothly, and the viewer won't have to think about like, oh, there was time in between, because it seems like there isn't. So that's overdoing it, because it's just my habit to do it with everything now, because I know it works.
I do.
I remember seeing that. It was just like, dude, I haven't seen a Telltale Games reference in 15 years. So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Probably. But you know what's my favorite part is
Oh no.
the fact that you look up. It's perfect.
I think
It's so it's so perfect.
that was back at my old setup where I had 4 monitors. I had a 4th monitor mounted upon my right monitor on top of it. So I was checking that because that's where I kept all the stream stats. So I was probably checking stream stats. Works
Dude,
out.
when I saw that, when I saw you look up, I was like, I know exactly what I'm doing here. That's perfect. That was really fortunate. I love that.
Yeah, half of editing is just creativity is basically what I'm learning.
Honestly, I don't know. For me, it very much depends on what you're working with. It's funny. I don't feel like I'm not creative of an editor. I just very much go off of what I'm given. We should have added a heck counter because there's so many in there.
This could work in a video. Pitch idea. Feel free to use this in whatever. At the beginning, when I first say a word like for example, heck in this, I keep saying heck, and you're just like, suddenly a pop-up's like, guess how many times Rytro will say heck by the end of the video.
Oh, that's kind of good.
That's like a top 10 Rytro gaming moment right there.
Oh, what the hell? I don't remember making that.
Yeah, I think you just took an IGN article and just like cropped me into it.
100%.
Yeah. Unforgettable Rytro gaming moments. First sub 7. Completed 100% UN. Rytro has some insane gamer moments over the years.
I wonder if I must still have the original. I wonder if it's just that size or because it goes down. You don't see the bottom of it. So knowing me, I kind of just made a whole web page and I only used the top part.
But do any of them really beat chainsawing the pinky? Such a fucking see like that's too much effort for this small little scene. I don't get you, but goddamn, is it appreciated?
Yeah, worth though, worth.
Whee!
You'll have to explain to me one day why you have to open the menu for that, because I can't quite understand it.
I can do that right now, actually. It's
Yeah?
it's a buffer input. Think about it this way: if you were just timing it, no pause menu, if you just jumped and held forward, your W and your space and could be a few frames apart. Even if you do it at the same time, because you know human biology. So what we do is we hold W and space during the menu, so that when we exit menu, they both make sure we jump and hold W at the same possible frame. That's the technical reason, so we can get consistent boosts if we are in a consistent spot.
Repeating the first 5 seconds of the song over and over to make it seem like it's a stalling music.
I've done that before because I was stalling. Like, I wanted the drop of the song to be in a certain section, and the song's too short, so I just splice the song, crossfade it together so it's a little longer before the drop. You don't. It's freaking in my Doomsgray's achievement. I had to do that so often to where, like, I just had to time out beats, look at the sound form as a listen back 15 times. It's indistinguishable.
So good.
Here's the thing: the best, if you do your job effectively, no one will notice, and that's there's just a little trouble with me hearing that. Just like, why am I doing all this work if no one will notice? Like me painting a canvas white or something.
Okay.
That ledge. The heck was anything in that ledge?
The heck was anything in that ledge?
Hey, I'm just letting you know, I grew up with a stuttering problem, so you saying that is hate speech.
All I'm saying is I cannot wait for the Rytro merch store to open and to have that printed on a t-shirt.
What would fucking even be on my t-shirts? I don't even know, honestly.
I think just heck and then a period.
No, it'd be an underscore. It'd just be the underscore character just on the t-shirt. That's it.
Yeah. All right. That's actually kind of funny.
It's a rock.
Oh my goodness, she summoned a pillar to block
That's
that.
unfortunate.
Oh my God, she's a gamer. Hell,
She's a gamer. I just that's my favorite. I go to that even when I'm watching like sports and somebody gets a touchdown. I'm like, oh, what a gamer. Oh yeah, posting.
Orcs in 40k are the best race to ever exist in any game ever. That's all I'm saying. Don't take that out of context. Rytro.
Wanna see because this is only on screen for a split second.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, I like doing the very quick time. You only notice,
no, all this here is like custom text, which is weird. You even made a joke thumbnail. Like, also this is unrealistic. That's way too many likes for me. All right, so that was like your first big project for it. Honestly, I'm super happy with that product. It's just a good vid. It's good. Yeah, do you have any closing thoughts, or are you holding 0%
I
of
haven't
them?
seen it since you upload it. If I'm gonna be honest, so that's been what, like nearing a year now.
A little.
So
Yeah.
honestly, I'm a lot of the
7
stuff I
months.
didn't remember. I don't remember a lot of it, but I think it holds up
It's solid.
enough for an amateur editor.
Okay, we're on to the Doom 3 vid. But yeah, Doom 3 was accidentally. I was trying to find a title for this video for so freaking long. I came in here expecting a bad game or to pleasantly be surprised by a good game, and I got a comedy. Like, I just laughed way too much. Like, there was too much shit that went on here. Like,
Yeah, honestly, editing this was going through the footage for this because this was the.
I imagine it was a slog. This was before
It was funny though, like watching you unleash terror onto certain individuals. It was pretty good.
I remember I used a clip for this for a short too, so there's been some funny things, especially when you're a psychopath like me and like shooting.
Honestly, I don't know what clip you used for Doom 3 for the tour, but I kind of want to like, I always want a montage short of you, you know, killing what should not be killed.
Okay, cool. Next project. A quick montage of Rytro killing every innocent person in Doom 3.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you put there? I'm sorry?
A kangaroo!
Why did you put a kangaroo there?
Because you sounded Australian on last today. You went to die.
To
So I
die.
was like, alright, I'm putting
To
a
die,
kangaroo
mate.
behind him. Yeah! Have you never noticed that? That's
Okay,
funny.
you should have put a freaking emu. Because if there's one thing that the Australians know what not to do, that's kill emus.
I don't know what an emu is.
Oh, well, it's a style of music that isn't quite punk, but it's still a little more whiny.
Get
you know?
out!
You're the control, and if that fails, I'm the damage.
Okay, another thing for Rytro merch, getting that. Yes,
Yeah,
I would want that line on a shirt. Are you kidding me?
When you die later, and then, you know, that had me die for like, I must have rewatched it like 20 times. Editing, and every single time I laughed or scoffed. Like it was...
I remember you got very excited once you finished that clip, and I remember you sending it straight to me. Oh my goodness, I can close the shutters.
of that.
Game of all time. Puncher?
That's such a random detail to put in. I feel like that's like first level design of like, okay, what can we do? And then that detail just disappears. You know?
Well, they're basically saying, like, let's make this immersive. We want them to get involved, make them feel like they're in a Mars colony. Mars colony would have shutter switches. So you gotta, it's for immersion. Same thing like they would have Super Turbo Turkey Puncher 3, you know?
True, they would.
Yeah, they would on a Martian base. My life. All right, that's a funny one. Hold on. He started the whole invasion. I had how to justify murdering someone in cold blood. The perfect WikiHow article, you know? They did not figure out first-person shooters at this point, I will say.
I'm staying up here.
It's weird. I got a comment that they did figure out first-person shooters, but they made Doom 1, they made Doom 2, and other hit games like Doom 64. And then I remember just being like, yeah, but if they knew how to make it, the game would be good, right? Right? Like,
point, yeah.
It doesn't matter their previous experience if this game right now sucks.
I'm staying here.
Don't worry, I'll get you out of here.
The way I just realized this as well. It's when they die, it's not like it's like ooh. It's like this weird grunt instead of like an actual death sound. It's like they're lifting something that's a little bit too heavy for their biceps or some shit.
I was thinking that they were enjoying dying just a little too much, but hi there.
You dick! That was my kill!
What the fuck even was it? What is this scene supposed to do?
So weird.
This is just like one of those scenes where it's just like, you just do something random and hope it scares because the lol XD random, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, it's like
These are
loud
not
equals
jump scares,
funny,
they're jump
random
laughs.
equals
Oh my
scary.
fucking-
There's nothing you can do for me.
Oh, this is the death, that's the short.
Oh, okay.
They're all gone.
There's one thing I could do. Because that's just so cold and callous.
Oh, yeah.
You know, sociopathy does well on TikTok as far as I'm concerned. Gotta fake your Tourette's tics somehow, you know?
Remember, but they still forgot.
I do like that.
I love that. I changed the. That is a funny way to contextualize like why do people have codes on PDAs everywhere? Like when that's against procedure. Don't get me wrong. This game does some stuff well. Some stuff,
for sure.
Some stuff bad.
Like the shutters. Did you see that?
Oh, so I can get the chainsaw. Why is there a chainsaw on a Mars base? There's no trees to cut down. This game is just riddled with plot holes, people. Absolutely
I
riddled.
never thought about that until you said that. I was like, just a click, like, you know what? Yeah, what the hell? What did they use it for? Everything's made of metal.
So I figured this out from like literally day one. Somebody posted a comment on this video that's like, having chainsaws on Mars isn't actually a plot hole. There's a PDA log you can read where they got a mixed up shipment where they were meant to get like sledgehammers and like power saws, but instead they got chainsaws and they were complaining to the company about it. Like, I don't really care if a chainsaw's on Mars. It's inconsequential if it's a plot hole or not. Like, I'm just saying it like, oh, it's like when a game slightly stutters and I say literally unplayable, you know? Over here? Hello.
Mildly annoyed. I still don't know what they were trying to do here. I still don't know what the point of that
I remember this vividly. You included this clip because I remember we were talking about it in call reviewing this. You were like, why would you just jump down an elevator shaft? And I said like, no, I'm not crazy.
Like,
if they're talking to me, you must thought I was like the biggest psychopath at the moment. Like, what do you mean? And then I remember listening and I had to prove it to you right then and there.
Yeah. And since then, I'm no longer a skeptic.
I think what they tried to do here was like, oh, here's a creepy little thing telling you to kill yourself. Isn't it creepy when a little girl tells you to kill yourself?
On the cloud.
I thought the voices were telling me to jump, and I just wanted to see if that did anything.
You sound, out of context, you sound so crazy.
Out of context, I actually sound like a psychic. That's what...
Yeah.
Imagine if you didn't put subtitles here, how many people would think I'm actually crazy. Thank you. You've been a great help. Oh, how the fuck did those two miss?
That helmet, I don't know if they missed, but that helmet could withstand 2 bullets before dying, whereas that military grade helmet at the very start couldn't even last through 1. That's all I'm observing out of this.
No, you see, the medics are more valuable, so they dress them in more protective armor, obviously.
Of course, yeah, clearly.
Wow.
You did not miss any of those.
No. Why did they make this video? This is a top secret facility that not everyone on Mars has access to. Why the fuck did they make an introductory video for people, like, as if we're giving tours here about this shit? Or maybe it's just... Yeah, because, like, that's the conflicting... Like, you got a tour guide video at a top secret lab. I feel like that's just inherently contradictory. Like, what? Do they have to get, like, a high military ranking officer to voice act and edit it? Did they not just have regular editor? Like, no, you need to be at least Black Mesa rank 9 in order to get access here. By the way, we also have heavily produced video essays that so you can trust Jim the editor. He totally he can keep a secret. I was glad I quick saved. If you could teleport me in hell, why didn't you teleport me over lava or something? Just, you know, just asking questions. Because when I care about something, it's like I'll actually get angry at emotion. But with a game like Doom 3 and like I just noticed something very like blatantly bad, I'm just like, okay, yeah, quit asking questions, moving on. This scene, I want to know pointers. So it said no if there was a PDA on something. That PDA actually does exist. I had a commenter point this out. I didn't pick it up. Yeah, this is like a full-on action game without any of the action stuff at this point. Gonna be real. Perfect timing for this criticism, by the way.
For real.
Okay, never mind.
I did like that animation of it crawling out. That was good.
No, that's like genuinely like the best jump scare in the game. But it's playing off my arachnophobia though. Like that's the only why.
I think the jump scare at the start with the guy hanging off the railing who then fell down is by far #1. Like.
Yep, totally. Yeah, that guy falling really did work, man.
Sweat thinking of that.
Yeah, like what if I fall 2 feet off a ledge? Like what would happen?
Don't think about it, Retro. Don't.
Sorry, it's just the ledge gets closer every day, and I have to resist myself from jumping. You know, 2 feet.
That cube is our only chance to stop this. No time to explain now.
Boring.
Okay, I need to make a montage of your NPC kills. That's
honestly,
amazing.
After watching it, like, hell yeah, I'll pay you for it. Like, do it, please. That would be such a good, like, short/TikTok, actually.
That's funny. The snoring, boring as shit. That's really good.
That could be. There are so many death clips where I'm shooting someone. It's like, that could be the final death clip, and I'd be happy.
Yeah.
And there's like 6 or 7 of them. So this elevator scene.
Watch this whole thing, huh? Luckily, I have a few pretzels.
So the whole reason why that scene is included, this is, Irina found it very weird, the way I eat pretzels. Okay, I have a Q-tip here, so this will be bland and tasteless. Whatever, you'll get the thing. So one thing is I do, like, I, like, kind of slurp it, I go. Then start chewing, because I, like, slot it into my mouth, you know? And I remember you took fascination with that, and I was like, why?
Yeah, because it's strange.
How is it strange? I put the pretzel in my mouth and I chew. But yeah, that's the whole reason why that scene's there, if you're wondering why it's a little out of place, because I think this missed the final revision. Yeah, there's no context. You just have a contextless scene.
Because I took it out of, well, not out of context, but I focused on the way you ate that, and then you were like, what's wrong with that? You kind of gaslit me into thinking it was normal.
It is normal. Shut up. Like, I'm not... Okay, Irina, if you think the Earth is flat and I tell you it's round, that's not gaslighting, okay? That's the truth.
It was weird. I'm kidding. I don't care. You eat your pretzels the way you want to, right, Joe? It's okay.
Yeah, no one makes it...
I'm not elitist about eating pretzels. I've never had a pretzel in my entire life, so...
Gotta grab this, right? Speedrun. Whatever this boss is...
That's the last clip for sure. That will be the last one.
Speedrun. I've eventually went from regretting each kill to slowly be like, yeah, get it over with, speedrun.
See some of the...
Oh, this gave me
died the exact same
mental
way again.
aching watching this.
Why?
Because it's so rough. Because it's, I don't know, it feels like kind of just a shitty mechanic. Maybe
oh
that's
yeah,
just
it
me,
totally is. It is a shitty mechanic.
But it just looked really fucking annoying. Like, it didn't look fun. It was like, oh, you gotta hurry up. Because even when you hurried up, you fell down.
Because
like...
usually when you're about to die, you want like a visual cue or something. But like,
yeah,
no, that section just didn't allow it.
It just disappears outside of your vision without any kind of warning.
Notice this 1% wobble, and then you can escape, but...
What do you mean, look forward to where the enemies are? No, look at your feet. You gotta know what ground is gonna fall apart.
Exactly.
Don't worry about the im's about to shoot you. Don't worry.
Fucking Archvile. Get a job.
Get a job?
Fucking never mind.
It's like in a PvP game if somebody like outperforms you and is like just have such a high skill and is dumpstering you. Like, get a job is the insult I use.
Oh my goodness, it's
Transitions
it.
are
Them
non-existent.
referencing themselves in their own games.
Transitions
What
are
egos,
stupid.
Am I right?
To be fair, if I didn't stutter, you wouldn't have to edit the transitions.
Yeah, but fuck you. It's your fault.
Oh my goodness. 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 It's the end of the video. Bye.
Yeah, you asked
That's
me to
fun.
record that last one.
Yeah.
But this is why I'm saying, we said, guess how many times Retro says, oh my goodness, instead of me saying, it's bye, it's like, it's 24, bye.
Yeah.
And then just cold end. But yeah, I refer to this video as my best edited video on the channel, so congratulations.
What?
No,
really?
no, I would say that. I think like pound for pound, this is one of the best videos on there.
Huh, interesting. I am humbled.
Definitely top 3.
Ooh, okay. I am definitely humbled.
That's not humbled. You discover humble is like you
Okay,
discover you're
I'm
worse than you
egoed.
actually
I'm
are.
egoed.
They're similar. These are similar. We're basically. I know what you meant. I'm just being a dick.
You really are. Okay.
Well, you are what you eat, so.
Oh, okay.
Irina, thank you so much for joining me. It's late for you, right? You gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully I have work at 5 p.m., so we can sleep in until 4 p.m. And we're gonna.
Okay, Irina, I don't want you here, okay? Like,
No, I'm
don't
going,
make
don't
this
worry.
difficult.
No, okay, bye.
I never even liked you in the first place. Get out of here. No, stop it. Okay.
Now I'm just sad.
Well, goodbye,
Hey,
sad. So, I'm hiring new editor. Anyone wants to apply. You dick. Okay, but I was funny. So, people. Ultrakill. It's the new sensation across the nation. It's the video I released literally yesterday. Why Ultrakill? The answer is quite simple, because Doom got boring. When you put, like, thousands of hours in a certain franchise, like, it can, like, believe it or not, take a toll on you. I just rushed to end this. I did most of the editing in, like, the last 3 weeks. I have a lot to comment about it because it's all fresh in my mind. But, yeah, there's a little bit of drawbacks because I know, like, I was on a time crunch trying to get this out before this, so there are some mistakes I know about. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this. We were just talking about my openings. I made a longer the icon of Sin is on Earth joke, a quick cutaway, and then saying hi all in like 5 seconds. Like that, is that just not the best open? Oh, fun fact, Brian Otto saw this video. He left a comment. And he actually pointed out a funny thing in the script that was not in any way intentional.
There is one Titan that sits above the rest.
So there is one Titan that sits above the rest. Brionado is most famous for speedrunning Titanfall 2, where he held world record uncontested for like 7 years. Me saying Titan while Brionado on stream it's a funny coincidence.
For those wondering what this game is about, you're a vampiric robot named Vioni.
So, okay, to explain this joke, V1, or Vonetta Flowers, that's who I was looking for. No, but V1, just spell out 1 and pronounce it. It's Voni. That's what I'm calling the protagonist all the time. It's Voni. That's my little transparency thing that I have for chat when I speedrun, for my splits. I had the wrong scene. Noticed it last second. Really didn't care because it was only like 3 seconds, but whatever. It's fine. The one thing you'll notice, the background of this level is not the background of the thumbnail. The thumbnail's background is 4-1. I just photoshopped some of the environmental design in there because I really liked like the sun overlooking the pyramid look of the first one because I just thought it was more iconic for the thumbnail. See, like if you look there, I think I photoshopped this exact picture into the thumbnail.
Found an S rank in styles, just getting enough swag bucks for each level.
Does anyone remember swag bucks? Anyone? It started off as like a phrase, just saying like, "Hey, you've got style. You got a lot of swag bucks." Like it was mostly meant as an ironic. It's like one of these websites where basically you can play a game, watch advertisements, do stuff to gain like these little currency points. And then you could use that to like buy like actual games on Steam and Steam codes and whatnot. I remember having one when I was in high school because swag bucks wasn't blocked on my high school computer system. So what I did was I would log on to that on our Chromebooks and I would generate stuff, and over the course of like a couple weeks, you know, I think I got like Batman Arkham Asylum or something, and I got to try that out. Don't like the game too much, but I got it for free, so thanks, high school, for letting me do that.
The arbitrary point meter in the top right that rewards you more points for playing, well, very cool.
Just saying, I specifically chose this. You do get a style rating for doing en passant in the chess minigame. It's the game of all time. I don't know what else to say. So I did this thing here, which I'm actually kind of proud of. I lined up my VO with some of the actions. Like, whenever I put emphasis on a word, I usually try to have something major happen on screen. Like, right here, how I hit this core eject snipe as I say and.
Shooting. So in most levels, you have to play fast and stylish if you want.
I've been paying a little bit more attention on where to cut clips relative to how my VO is doing. It's a skill I think I worked on in this video.
And last but not least, the faster their attacks become, and the more damage you take from said attacks.
So, okay, so I really like using the Mandalore example and like the faster their attacks go because his specific attack lines are full auto and fuller auto. So I'm like, this lines up nicely. I like this. I like this edit. I like this.
Let's see how we have to do all of this.
Don't forget to subjugate all of Mongolia for me, please and thanks.
In 4-2.
By the way, I have no ties to the Chinese government. Just wanna clarify. I'm not getting undisclosed dollar bills in my bank account every month. They pro-Chinese stuff. That would be silly. I just hate Mongolia. Imagine if you were such a dick that someone built a 7th Great Wonder to like stop you. Little thing that I don't like, I found out later that I can disable UI, so these clips are still with cheats enabled. But we were getting close enough to where the stream was only like a day or two out, where I'm just like, fuck it, I don't want to footage. It's fine. It's only for a few seconds. Nobody cares.
You want the dash jump as it's too costly in stamina, and you'll just stop as soon as you hit the ground.
Unironically, me doing dash jumps to try to die and then not being able to die, just, I don't know. I found it very hard to die by doing dash jumps, so it wasn't the best footage that aligned, but it's demonstrating a point.
That's exactly what's gonna go on here.
Okay, I only have this pause play mechanic in a few places, and I don't do this everywhere in the run, because I wanted to lead in or lead out of a topic. Big, just being like, yeah, we're on pausing here. That's basically it, and it communicates that vibe pretty well.
Shoot the small target the size of a freaking coin.
Xbox game mic for emphasis. Nah, there's like a filter you can do for that. I just needed something a little silly because otherwise that scene just seemed to drag. So it's like, okay, audio effect, here's some good variation.
By the end of the video.
All right, so
foreshadowing is a literary device used to make prepositions. Dude, I made that joke, like, I think in literally every video.
An Ultra Boost. A classic staple.
I think the music lines up pretty well here. I did spend a lot of time trying to line that up. I tried to focus on having a variety of effects going on while the video essay thing was happening. Small music sections, small meme, small stuff. I just tried to diversify like small breaks from the main story because, you know, you can keep more attention that way. And at least
also a robot fueled by blood killing a bunch of demons in hell, so...
People unironically have used that argument as a defense for when I have criticisms in Ultrakill. I remember some people in chat saying that I was... Okay, yeah, we're all just a bunch of space wizards using plasma swords, right?
But with a really big explosion.
Dude, it's been a while. I'm officially a YouTuber. I made a what the fuck boom joke. That is some YouTube pip golden. Like, anyone remember the 2000s YouTube? Every video had that sound effect in it. Every video.
They have a Malface named Maurice. That's
Malface Maurice. I don't know. It just sounded fun to say. Basically, like, the community like, I'm hip. I know some of the lingo that you call enemies.
That's how V1 gets health back in the game. Gibbing an enemy and letting the blood shower.
There's a few spots here. I wasn't able to audio edit as good as I wanted to, but I can definitely hear my breath sometimes, and I just despise hearing breathing noises a lot. I don't know. Live streaming, I somehow built up a tolerance because I accept that you can't live audio edit your streams. In any edited video, if somebody has a lot of mouth sounds, I'm put off from it. I'm just very put off from it.
That's anime. And then moving on.
Okay, that little trick. I didn't feel like that was enough of transition. This is literally just the clip continued. I just put a push filter on there because I wanted it to be like, yeah, we're moving on, new section. I don't know, video just feels visually more up pace if I do that. Mouse sounds? Is there mouse sounds? I don't even think they're mouse sounds. You're talking about a click? There's sometimes a click. I think that's from me hitting my keyboard. I do that sometimes when I'm, you know, moving my hands around. What I do is I have my script and I have my hands out because I'm, you know, I'm moving my hands because I'm trying to feel natural and stuff. And so, like, most of this is just when I
carry a bunch of... Oh, B1...
Okay, the only reason I have that there is because I needed something to break up my audio so that it didn't sound so weird. Because I think I recorded this next line the next day, and, like, I didn't want to change my audio quality, so I was like, fuck, I need a transition here. I'm just like, okay, robot meme. We can just robot meme this.
To where the final wave spawns in, where we shoot a virtue to kill them instantly.
I think a lot of what I do here, like, you'd understand if you're anywhere, like, near, if you've played FPS games or something, like, just in general. I don't explain some things, like, for example, I'd never go over what a railgun is. I just kind of assume if you're watching an FPS speedrun video, you at least know the concept of shooters enough to know what a railgun is.
Downtime optimization. After more...
I really like the editing of this video, because, like, you know, I'm out of the project. I'm done with it, so I can look back a little bit more. I think pacing in terms of my scripted content, like, this is probably the best paced, like, I've been, period.
After plugging in the red skull, we has to grab the blue skull all the way over there.
And I decided to make that a little jovial section, mainly just because I wrote it in the script that way, and I laughed so hard with how bad that was just grammatically by, like, every rule that I just had to keep it. Yeah, that's it.
Like, on this launch pad, slamming into it will give more height and more distance.
I actually trusted myself here to not, like, put letters at the top, because I'm just like, you can just tell that one goes further than the other. Like, you don't need the text there. I'm a big fan in video essays and stuff that you cut out all unnecessary text.
With 4 rail shots, yeah, deleted.
Okay, one thing you won't see here is I actually had to cut to a different scene in, like, because this section is the most inconsistent thing to get optimally. This railgun shot, the virtue can move slightly, some of the enemies can't die to coins. I had to split and splice this section up to fucking smithereens. Frickin', I had to splice the crap out of it just for demonstration purposes to get the essence of what a run of this level is like. I just like how many yippee memes I can use. That one's from Senna from Xenoblade 3, mainly just because Coma. Frickin', she has that on a soundboard, and her playing that in Discord just like was like, okay, that's just too good of a sound effect. I need to use this for something.
For some reason, thinks that you just ground pounded from an insane height. So, it gives you a bunch of speed upward.
So one part, I'd like to go in depth and, like, know why when you slam storage, it thinks that you're at an insane height. Like, what in the code? Like, is it an underflow value or something? Like, is it just default to, like, the height? Like, I want to know, like, specifically why.
Coin priority is key here.
In case you're wondering, this low-quality JPEG of the coin, that's the official coin. That is literally, Akira has been on the record of they stole this coin image off of Google something, and that's just the one they've been using. So it is shit. However, it's narratively fitting shit, so it's good.
And then slam storage to the top of the temple for when we place...
Oh, one thing that's obvious if you do that. I didn't use new game files to get the super blue secret orbs because I thought that was effort for not a lot of return. So I just let them be the gray orbs and just demonstrated the route. Basically what I decided. Not really a flaw, but it's more like a, Tactical laziness.
I wish I was joking, but no, that's basically what you do.
I'm kind of proud of this edit just because it's just a simple edit. I'm a raging Uncharted fan. I love the Uncharted games. So like I know when there was a Crash Bandicoot section in one of the games, I'm like, okay, I gotta use this scene for this.
Which is why the issues with this game pain me.
Yeah, here's the pivot. My original vision for this video would be like something like why Ultrakill speedrunning will be amazing. In fact, that was the entire premise. But then it came into a breakdown of 4-2. So I want to kind of invert this video a little bit and be like, well, okay, well, where can it have pitfalls? Let's talk about the opposite stuff. I think I'm testing out both titles to see, you know, how Speedrunner's 100% Ultrakill's best level, or Ultrakill speedrunning will be pieces of art, or whatever the fuck I decide is the best. I think I like this one slightly more. But yeah, that was why there's... I don't know. Okay, so I guess the question is, why is there a twist in this video? Why did I feel that necessary, I guess? It's because Ultrakill, despite being a great game, has some stuff with how it's speedrun moderated, with how the game works, that is just fucking backwards in terms of how literally every PC game runs. I think it's important because every suggestion I give here, well, except for the Deadcoin case, is basically to increase fairness across the leaderboards for everybody, so that the person who's truly skilled, the person who, you know, put in the most work, got the best time, and put blood, sweat, tears, and cum into that, like, run, like, they would be on top. I don't like unfairness, is in other words what I'm saying. But in this video, I just shortened it to, I just want to talk about it. That's just additional context that will get in the way and ruin the message of the video, basically.
Why are we not testing for it? Whether you...
Yeah, that's kind of the... Like I say, you compare speedrunning to kind of like track events, I feel like, where it's just like, it doesn't make sense if like they gave like the first 10 meters are free and then we time you after. It's just like, there's skill there, dude. Let's test for it. Like, let's have them start from 0. Everybody, equal playing field. Nobody gets points for having a slow build-up speed, but a great top speed. Gotta have both.
But a major disparity in skill.
I do like how they had their like UI flipped and then I just 50% of this. I saw this just after looking through a few runs. I'm like, that's a neat edit. You know what? Sure.
Because we were speedrunning the game, not the timer.
I had that line planned since ever I had the script. I originally had a bit in here talking about an issue where weapon wheel slowdown also applied to the in-game timer. It unincluded that because it was patched out in like the Layer 7 update. Travis, who's another 100% Ultrakill speedrunner, he fact-checked my script. Yeah, made that comment. I'm like, oh fuck, yeah, okay, it's been patched. Cool, don't have to worry about it then. We'll just keep it out.
I wouldn't want someone to fail their casual P rank just because they spent too much time looking at their Pokemon bank beforehand.
Wait, that's what it stands for. Solution. I did not plan that joke. I had the Pokemon bank joke, and then I was like, wait. I had made a P rank joke. You know what else starts with P? It's such a throwaway line, but it's a callback. That means it's funny.
Take a game that I'm quite involved with and quite love.
Strimmer, when Ghostrunner video? When releasing Ghostrunner? You said you'd be working on it, Strimmer. Where is... I will eventually do it. I will do that video fucking right, I guarantee you.
Frame rate limiting. Fuck it, that's a transition. Ultrakill has no F.
So there was originally no transition. I was just like, let's make a joke about, like, I'm creatively bankrupt, because I was creatively bankrupt for some of these visuals, because I put a lot more work into the visuals in this video than I typically do. I don't that's just the true statement of me just saying, fuck it, I'm done. And you know what? I hope it appears genuine, because I was a little bit.
The jump input has to be on.
So originally an explanation of faux check jumps weren't in here because I didn't think I could get footage of it. And then I tried using my frame rate limiting stuff to get it to work and it worked. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. I got to re-record for that. So you can notice a little change in audio. Not like too distracting, but it's fine.
Rather than just playing the gosh darn game.
Yeah, I guess like some may argue like I think like that argument's pretty ironclad. The only thing that you can make really for a defense is like, but nobody does it. It's like if you're a soldier entering combat and you don't wear your bulletproof vest, like sure, like you could not get shot. You likely won't, but you'll want one in case you do get shot at, like, right? Like, so yeah, the main reason I wanted to talk about these two things in particular is because these are such like leaderboard / PC gaming / speedrun fundamentals. It's wild to me that there's no Ultrakill. So it's like, come on. It'd be so awful. I don't think anyone would hate themselves so much for a PB. Okay, hold on. Speedrun.com. Okay, so there's this category called PS Max. Now, there's 2 rendering modes. There's PC, which renders 8-bit, and there's PS Max, which I think emulates like a PlayStation or something like that. And what you can do is you can modify settings in this run using these options to make the pixels way less than they exist. You can have like 16 pixels on screen. You can have them color not be too differentiated at all. You basically do stuff to like give yourself motion sickness, basically. So like, let's look at a run real quick. Look at it. So that's what happens when you have the PS settings at max. Like, it's like borderline unintelligible. This is such a great experience. I know. Isn't this game awesome? But yeah, this explains why it's a category extension, because it's a fucking meme. And like, honestly, I kind of want to run this. It just seems so stupid. It seems like it'd be a good video.
Dead coins. Remember I said that shooting a coin will increase the damage of a shot?
Yeah, so this is the one mechanic that I'm not a big fan of. Fun fact, Travis, person who fact-checked my script, it's actually arguably the founder of Deadcoin. Like, he found this during testing, and he, as the founder of this, basically hates dead coins and wants them patched out. Or wants basically a way to play the game where dead coins are not viable whatsoever, at least.
And the damage boost from the pistol shot.
One thing's when I learned Deadcoin, I wanted to make a diagram and a clip to eloquently explain it, and I think I did a good job here. Of course, like, you know, it's not perfect art. These things are perfect. It's not like a 3D modeler, but it's like, this is like whiteboard video editing where, like, you can completely understand it despite its lack of detail or its lack of quote-unquote quality. I mean, I was a physics TA for, like, 6 years. Probably more than that. And I got used to whiteboard explanations all the time, so that's usually where I go basis. I'm thinking about, like, how would I personally draw this on a whiteboard, and then I just do it in video editing. Men, when they're 5'11", you know? Because, like, the argument is for if a glitch shouldn't be included in a category or a thing or something is a factor you need to consider is how easy is it to do, and is this intended behavior? Dead coins aren't easy to do on accident. You have to do a specific setup for them. Hikita came out tomorrow saying, yeah, I intended for dead coins. It's a mechanic I like. I'm keeping it in, and I won't change it at all. It's just like, well, fuck, that's intended. I guess, like, that would shift perspective a lot on what would be allowed. However, I'd still think they wouldn't be fun, so... I get it. I wouldn't be less upset, but at the same time, like, my comments about the depth and the, you know, the funness of it would still be the same.
With blackjack and hookers.
Futurama reference, mark that on your bingo sheet. I use that line all the time that I figured, like, I'd use it with a meme clip or something. That it just is, it's a nice interlude, you know?
Ocarina of Time has no major glitches.
It's actually called Glitchless. I got the name wrong, and I knew in editing that it wasn't, but I didn't want to do the video because I didn't want the there to be as much audio difference as possible. So I was just like, yeah, just put Glitchless. Nobody cares. It's not like it changes my point. Is that, like, Glitchless? Look at how much stuff Glitchless bans in Zelda. Like, holy shit, dude. I literally copy-pasted the SRC list and changed the font size down to, like, 2 to get this all fit.
That's an arbitrary goalpost already.
What I basically say is when people say the word arbitrary, it's like, everything's arbitrary, dude. Yeah, why are we speedrunning? We're speedrunning because we find it fun. So when speedrunning's not fun, like, we gotta do something. That doesn't mean we throw objectivity out the window or something, but we can be arbitrary with our objectiveness in sort of spans where we do definable traits that we know for sure are banned. So yeah, I think that's a point. I'm gonna act like it is.
I'm just shouting to the void in my YouTube what my dream changes to this game would be at the end of the day.
So basically just saying, these are my ideal changes. This is what I want, all that stuff. Because I feel like, you know, I'm gonna demand it. Hikita, listen to me. Like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. Like, I would like if you were to do it, but it's like, it's not that serious at the end of the day. So you gotta keep it in perspective that it's not worth the effort. It's not worth the mental toll. Take a step back. We're playing a game here. This is what I would like to happen. It's not like it's the end of the world, but I'd greatly prefer it, you know?
That Doom Eternal's depth comes a lot from unintended mechanics being used effectively.
Yeah, Ultrakill, like, don't get me wrong, like, Doom Eternal would probably still be a sick speedrun if it didn't even have any unintended mechanics, but in the speedrun, those unintended mechanics is what makes it fun, like lurch hopping, double destroyer blade, fast destroyer blade setup, meat hooking, all that stuff. Like, that's what makes the run of Doom Eternal, right? Is the fact that it is programmed with toothpicks and bubblegum. And if it wasn't programmed with toothpicks and bubblegum, it probably would not have stuck around with us as long, because then it'd just be a less deep experience, because all these bugs added the depth. Just want to point, special thanks, I put a couple jokes in here. Travis is the genuine thanks, Ultrakill Speedrunner community. Several people help me understand mechanics. Hikita for pushing out a patch and making me change half this video. Thanks again for that, really appreciated. And then my back for all this. Got one more video. A physicist plays Outer Wilds. This video is controversial for me. It's my most disliked video. And you'll see why by the end of it. Find out next time after I come back from this break. All right, who wants to play a drinking game with me? I'm gonna need something to get through this video. Not for the reasons you think. I think this video is actually quite good. It's just, I have so much disagreement at every point. What's the game? This is Outer Wilds. It is a space exploration game. You might be wondering, Rytro, you're a fucking Doom tuber. You speedrun. Why the fuck are you talking about some space exploration game randomly? To be real, I played through Outer Wilds on stream because I'm, like I said, I have a background in physics and astronomy. I love this shit. I've been a space enthusiast ever since I was young. Like, immediately after my dinosaur phase, I was onto the space train. It was great. I drew galaxies in class, liked gravitational effects, lensing, wormholes, all that shit. Me as a kid soaked that up, not understanding any of it. This game comes out. It's a game that's beloved. A lot of people love this, so it's very hyped. I'm hyped going into it. This is the one thing I know better than most people out there. Because most people don't have a physics fucking degree, you know? So it's like, I have a unique perspective to take for this game. Not to mention, in college, my favorite part of going to college was being a tutor/TA, teaching physics concepts to kids. Most of the time, kids who didn't even want to fucking be there. So I had to try to communicate with these kids, and I had to learn how to teach effectively. I went to teaching seminars, I held groups, got current feedback, all that crap. So it's like, okay, I can use this game, a game that I'm actually quite qualified to talk into. Not to mention I'm an avid gamer, physics knowledge, and by the end of it, I think I'm a little bit of a critic. I think everyone knows from just having one conversation on stream for me, right? That I'm a little bit of a critic. I like to overanalyze stuff. Maybe this is just the shade of autism I have. I don't care if it is or not. I like doing it. So I felt like I could have a unique voice in this type of game. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna spend the next month making an Outer Wilds video. And I did. And you know how... Want to know something? 86% dislikes. My most disliked ratio video ever. Not to mention, only 15k views. Let me show you something that also breaks my heart about this. This is a 3.5-hour supercut of me playing through the game. It's on my VOD channel. Actually, it's on my Supercut channel now. So basically, the Supercut channel is whenever I have clips or additional out-of-context thing that I don't think are for the main channel, but I want out there, I post them there. I privated this video because it has 21.7k views, and it got all of that within a little over a month. And this video that I've spent a lot more time trying to learn physics, impart a lesson into, and basically tried my all with, gets 15k and 7. Like, that was such a shot in the knee of, like, I can put more effort into something and have it do worse. I think everything about that supercut that I put here is in here and it's good. And I think that the lessons on top of it are good too. I don't know if I handicap myself by having a supercut and this video because that ruins people's impressions because they already saw my supercuts. So yeah, I know this video didn't do well, but I'm happy it exists. It's something that I wanted to make. It's something I provided perspective on. That's the preamble for why this.
Hey all.
Now you may be wondering, why isn't there a big jump scare like at the start of every other video? It's because Outer Wilds is a way more chill game, so chill open. Oh, I should mention, people, if you haven't played Outer Wilds and you have any desire to do so, you should leave. I will spoil the whole game because that's what this video does.
Carry on, Space Cowboy.
The only reason I did that is because Cowboy Bebop is a space-themed show, and that's just what I thought of when I said cowboys. That was the original title of this video because I wanted to, like, you know, reference Doom somewhat because I'm known for Doom. It's like, Outer Wilds is a physicist ultra nightmare. Like, oh, that'd be a good way to combine both. And then I realized it's actually a shit title. So then I changed it later. Also, it's the easiest fucking edit I could have. That is the easiest goddamn edit I could have done for an intro, but it just feels nice because that's what happens in the game. I saw the No Clip documentary after I made it. They do the exact same edit, but they use the documentary footage.
We are a Parthian.
Casual reference to Kerbal Space Program. Kerbal Space Program I planned to be another thing in the Phycisist plays, but I'm gonna be real, I spent one stream trying to play it and all that stuff, and I just don't think I like the core gameplay of Kerbal Space Program. I just don't think it's something that appeals to me. I mean, I do like space games, I do like realistic stuff, but I don't know, I think the game's structured in just a way that it's just like, I don't really feel that much improvement, because it basically what it does is, it bombards you with tutorials in the beginning, and then it leaves you on your own devices to figure shit out on your own. I guess what I'm saying with Kerbal Space Program is like, I probably would have preferred, like, a structured tutorial that teaches you as you, you know, build stuff, rather than just here's a part, click on it, put the part on your ship, see how this part does X thing. If I give Kerbal Space Program like another 2 or 3 streams, I might really like it.
Some gas that can instantly kill you.
Yeah, why the fuck do they not have the fence a little higher? I guess the Nomai are, the Harthians here, are characterized as people who are uncaring for their death. So, like, they only need something simple to stop them, but that's about it. Because if they die, oh well, who cares?
The first of what would be many landings on our moon, the Addle Rock.
I love the word intentionally there because it implies that they got to the moon by accident at some point before. That's just funny writing. Like, don't get me wrong, some of the writing is like that is witty, that is good, that's a great line. One of my favorite things is, I think it's Gabstro or one of your allies. He says something like, out of everything I've tried, both ideas didn't work.
I had a few drinks to help me get through the first adventure. And
Wait, I can roast a marshmallow.
oh, guys, we got to the gameplay.
To be fair, this is how I act when I'm completely sober. However, putting it after saying I've had a few drinks makes too much sense. This was kind of like a prerequisite to my Doom video where I did Doom's greatest achievement, where I had title cards for like each planet and other stuff. I do like how I did this. There's definitely stuff I improve. I think I perfected this with Doom just because their photo mode is more generous. Because in Outer Wilds, like, the game has a weird coordinate system where it considers you its center and everything has a velocity relative. Basically a bunch of stuff that made, like, camera modes, no clips, and all that stuff, like, awkward. I think they work well enough, and definitely they were a stepping stone for me to eventually, you know, get better at this with a new video.
That gravitational force just pushes all the mass to go.
Maybe not as smooth with the arrows and stuff, but this is definitely understandable, which is my main priority. Like, this feels like, okay, great. I've just given like a freaking crash course on how suns work. Yeah, I think people, when they explain supernovas, they typically just say the sun explodes, but nobody ever goes into the reason why. It's something I had that thought, which is why I made that section all that. If you explain that in that detail, you're more scientifically literate in regards to space than like 95% of people.
Pilot, I'm...
Yeah, I used that a lot in this video where I found an editing technique. I want my, my reaction to be more visually apparent, but I don't want that to distract from the game too much. So I did like this weird masking effect. I think it works pretty well for what I want to. I just need it more consistent. That's the thing. Consistency was kind of lacking in this video because I manually dragged it every time.
This is a huge... Wait, what if we go into the eye of it? Huh? What if we do that? Hold on. Just gonna... This is about...
Okay, this reveal right here, this thing that you could do with the tornado, this is Outer Wilds at its best. It makes sense. Like, you would intuitively understand, like, if you know anything about tornadoes. The Eye of One has no weather. And it uses that intuition that you have built up from previous skills to be able to make this assumptions. I just wish they continued it. To be fair, okay, I'm so glad that I got, like, this tower first out of, like, mostly anything. Like, this is the first, like, major thing I went and discovered. And I feel like this set a poor expectation me for the rest of the game because I get disappointed by a lot after this. I know it's kind of silly saying the not measurement device and using that to measure it to, like, show what it acts like, but it's such a silly thing, and I think it kind of demonstrates the point quite well because not measurement is measurement. That feels like almost comedy at that point.
This game extends the same concept.
So, like, most people I've seen, actually the few videos on Outer Wilds I've seen that I really like, that I feel like it adequately explore the physics in it. Up is not jump, I think. He has a video where he talks about wave function, collapse, and quantum moon and stuff. He uses the Stern-Gerlach experiment to demonstrate that, which is a similar way of demonstrating superposition. I didn't want to repeat the same field, so I was just like, let's just talk practically. What does it mean to be in a superposition if you're an electron around an atom? It doesn't do a good job explaining why it behaves like a wave function, but other people have already did that. I can let them have the light. Like, I'm going to talk about just what it is.
It captures the previous state and preserves an image of it with no bearing on the object's current state.
The thing I think that you can fix is to make it less silly and be more in line with, like, perception makes, like, quantum, is if your little drone thing was a camera, actually, and it could transmit data to you in real time. You video recorded it, and I feel like that would fix, like, the perception issue, because image, like, the image is just an image capture of a previous state, right? But a video, you'll feel like it is affecting it because a video is real time. A second Nomai looking at the moon should be enough to lock in place. Yeah! Why isn't anyone... Okay, I guess question, this feels very plot relevant. What happens if the quantum moon, if we're trying to get it, that someone on Earth just sees it? Like, why doesn't that apply to us? And I know the answer is obvious. It's because gameplay. Because you can't have it as a reliable mechanic if you have it random if someone's looking at it or not, or effectively random. It feels unrealistic to me that somebody's not looking out there at the stars because this is an astronomy-focused civilization. They don't see the quantum moon. If that was actually a mechanic or something, like if we, for example, knew a schedule of somebody who would look out at the stars, like, every night or something, and then we go to the quantum moon at that point. That could be another way of doing the puzzle. Have it time-based. Yeah, I think that would be a fun mechanic to explore. I'd be fine with that.
I don't get why not taking a picture of the moon and me entering the moon matters. I mean,
this is a big logic fuck up in the game as far as I'm concerned. It should make no difference if you have a photo or not. I get if you need 2 observers and you want to justify that. However, with the way the moon and the fog is set up, that 2 observers always counts as 1 observer because their reference frames are equivalent because they're both observing the same thing. So, like, by the logic, it'd have to be that the picture observing the full moon is different than you observing only the fog, but not the outline. It feels like the outline is what's important, but the outline isn't, which is why I don't like this mechanic from a conceptual standpoint, because if you have physics knowledge, it effectively nerfs you. I always assume the thing that bothered most physicists would be scale. Here's the thing. I'm fine with the reduced scale argument, English fish. I'm fine with that, because that's the central premise of the game. The game teaches you that in, like, the first 10 minutes. How do I put it? Thinking about something in detail should not make it worse, if you know what I mean, right?
What in the
Sorry, I just love perfectly cutting out, like, my swear words because it makes me PG friendly, but also, like, you assuming the swear word just, like, makes it funny to me.
Where the fuck?
You can tell how much I like it. I use this a lot because it's just great. It's just great. That's a black hole.
Yeah, you know.
One thing I learned from watching the NoClip documentary that I actually really appreciate about this game, that gravitational lensing effect is accurate. The game development studio hired a aerospace engineer who literally used Einstein equations to calculate how gravitational lensing would affect a black hole this size, and attentions to detail like that are fucking awesome. I love it. I took this diagram from a PDF of a physics textbook I had. How do I put it? The most important thing is that you understand what I'm saying and that it comes through clear, and I think this diagram does that job perfectly.
Genuinely, we don't know.
How do I put it? Scientific consensus is that those aren't white holes, that they don't provide enough evidence from. Yeah, I kind of, like, we don't know. That's technically true. We don't know. But no physicist who's worth their salt will consider them. It's more like a fringe theory that those were white holes. At least there's some evidence for it that we just don't know how to properly explain. Okay, this just reminds me of later of the playthrough, a little bit spoilers for later. So there are more warp towers in this game. I was under the assumption that the way to get the Ash Twin project was to find a way to reattune another warp tower. Because this game introduces a lot of mechanics to you after the fact. I thought there was a mechanic I was missing that I can find out a way to change the attunement and get to the Ash Twin project or something. Like, that was my imagination for the big reveal, which honestly, kind of sick. I think I would really vibe with a game that did that rather than just have seen specific warp towers out there. But that's more of like a grocery list more than it is like a criticism. That's just me wishing that it was slightly different in the way I thought.
Well, stream 2.
I don't want to talk. Okay, I kind of do want to talk about it just a little bit, but like near the end of the first stream, I was actually really feeling the alcohol. I think I was actually pretty drunk there. That's why that's brushed to the side, because that's a blur for me in my memory too. After looking over the footage, nothing was too interesting.
Cyclones Casanova typically used to send posts. Oh, there's a difference.
Casanova, cassava. I just kind of get the vibe of the word and I go for it at this point. I'm surprised if people are able to read literally everything they say. I basically just look for the vibe of the word and I assume, and that has punished me many a times. People in my Twitch chat can attest.
No, just kidding. This doesn't even represent physics in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel, because I love the reveals where it's like it relies on your previous knowledge, kind of like how the eye of the tornado has no like weather. So if you knew anything from tornado knowledge, it would be helpful to go in to get there. But how the fuck are you supposed to predict counterclockwise tornadoes like send you downward? Like that's just fucking absurd. It's an issue I still wrestle with this game, with how it makes up its weird rules that aren't intuitive. Yet it really benefits from having intuitive rules that you would know from real life knowledge. It kind of like it wants to have its cake and eat it too and have both in there. And I'm just wondering how a game that was based on intuitive mechanics that had some basis in reality, how effective that would be. I think it would be even better, honestly.
Ash Twin slowly transfers to the Ember Twin.
Somebody told me that in the comments of this video that there's a log stating that the Ash transferring from Ash and Ember Twin only happens like once every 100 days or something. The fact that your time cycle starts on a perfectly with a cycle is a little convenient. I don't know how true that is. I'd have to look at a log, but if that's the case, like, it's another thing I don't like. But yeah.
I was taking my notes, then my lantern died. When I lit again, Coleus and the rock were both... Wait.
Entanglement or anything works in reality. I get into this. But like, from the word entanglement and observation, you can arrive at the mechanic of this rock, and that's great. Because rather than the more specific physics definition, it's the general definition, but just apply the quantum word to it, you know? Like, I really like this one. But the tornado one, I'm still like, not the is entanglement. Now, a lot of tech bros, spiritual healers, and more will attempt to use this term to confuse you to buy something. You have no idea how freaking hippie shit that's totally inaccurate is marketed off the back of just saying the word quantum. There's a lot. I remember seeing that YouTube short that I was showing in there that was trying to explain quantum entanglement, and I was genuinely pissed with how wrong they got quantum entanglement, because I'm pretty sure the guy who's speaking about it knows absolutely fucking nothing because they never went to a quantum course. But, like, they're just some person who's like, yeah, I worked with the government and secret technology, blah, 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 but, like, they don't understand, like, the physics. And if they understood the physics, they realize what they're saying is fucking ridiculous. Spooky action at a distance. Okay, so entanglement, that's the whole reason why Einstein said spooky action at a distance. Basically, I found it weird that measuring an object could have any effect at an object. But quantum superposition is a fucky beast, huh? It fooled even the great Einstein. And Einstein, even when he's wrong, he's correct. So you know it's fucking big deal when he doesn't understand it. Even if it isn't accurate to how it works in the real world. Well, moving on. I don't know. I feel like I'm willing to give ground on it's related to the concept in some way that makes intuitive sense, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind it when the game's, like, slightly out with physics, because you can infer it based on just what it is. About most surprise game rules feel arbitrary. I'm not tied to any physics, so it's refreshing a semblance of this world works this way, and you can go feel for yourself. Don't get me wrong, like, if all of the mechanics were unintuitive, I think you might have an argument, but the game wants to have both, and I don't know if having both is good, because it kind of shows that you hold almost two opposing ideologies in a game, right? It's like the equivalent of thinking 2 + 2 = 4 and the equivalent of thinking 2 + 2 = 5 at the same time, right? It's very hard to make them both work at the same time. That's a fine line to walk, and I'm not sure this game does it well. If it's all intuitive, it's not magical. If nothing is intuitive, it's not easy. No, I think definitely some things can be intuitive and magical. Like, for example, like, I don't know if this means what you're magical, but me entering the eye of the tornado because I knew tornado physics and knew that there was no weather in the center, that was fucking magical to me. I loved it. It was rewarding me for actually knowing something. If you have it the opposite of where the rules can't be distinguished, like if the eye thing was never happened because it's not trying to emulate it, then you get punished for knowing things. And then and if you have stuff that isn't intuitive, or at least that you can't easily think out at the moment, you introduce that in the beginning of the game. So then you can work that off as a basis, and you as like almost like a puzzle kind of intellectually like follow like what are the consequences if the universe is different in this way, and the game plays with that for a lot of its puzzles. I think that sounds awesome. Which we call the eye of the universe. It's older than the universe itself. Okay, I'm gonna be the big fucking nerd here. So I want them to say the method for why we think the eye is universe. It could be simple. Here's a simple scientific method that we could use to determine if the eye is older than the universe. There's this thing where things travel based on the amount of time while that they're traveling, that they travel to you. The wavelength will actually redshift or blue shift depending on if it's moving away or against you. What I want them to do is I want them to say that they got a redshift or blue shift value that would suggest an age way older than the universe. That's all they need to do. And I would be fucking happy. I would be ecstatic. That'd be great. I would fucking, you know? Like... Yeah, we have no physical observation for suggesting time. Like, I genuinely like how they're doing that white holes have, like, this little time dilation effect, and everything goes into black hole comes out of a white hole, and it's, like, it's cool, it's a fun concept to play through, but, like, I think it's bad design, but I love it, you know? What? It feels like about 22 minutes? So I'm wondering why they specifically wanted 22 minutes. They would know as, like, talented physicists and engineers that you could do any arbitrary amount of time. Why does 22 minutes so important? I feel like that's enough time for their experiment. They calculated it. You kind of got to assume that they have a logic. Anytime after would also work. Probably anytime similar. But I guess I would have, them running their experiment would take around 20 minutes. So they said, okay, well, 20 minutes, that's how close is that? Is like, it's only a relative, all right? Like, how about we do 2 minutes longer? Like, I would love to see that conversation to give people are afraid of, like, the nitty-gritty details when people discuss their logic for why they arrive at something. I actually really love when games go into detail on why they come on their conclusions and all that stuff. Is a black hole being generated in my head, or... I'm curious, can I fly into it? Dude, I want to know more about how the statues work. I get it. I get that they're able to do. Like, the game is, you know, characterizing them as that scientifically advanced enough to do so. However, mechanically, it's existentially terrifying, right? It was nothing. I learned nothing. 22 minutes well spent. I'm actually, okay, I kind of wish there was a world in which the probe did something to let you know that your time viewing it wasn't complete bullshit. But in the story that we're given, it makes sense why we wouldn't know it, because it doesn't get anything. It's bullshit. Like, if there was a valuable something like a screen that just says sent back to ATP or sent back to Giant's Deep or something for analysis. Like, so that gives you an inclination of where it's connected. And you wonder, like, oh, where does this part slot in and all that stuff. You fire it out after the fact, after you have the facts of the matter, but that's in the late game. You can't really discover what the purpose of this probe is until you get into the late game discoveries.
Yeah,
I want to know how the fuck that Nomai statues send back your memories even if you're far enough away. Like, I get if there's a radius in which they're effective. Okay, the radius is probably just, like, way big enough that you can not help to outrun it at any point, which, like, fair. No, my super technologically advanced civilization, blah, 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 you know. I'm working in this, like, unknowingness of what the rules are, so I kind of have to assume what it is. I feel like me knowing and knowing the capabilities, and for example, me going outside the radius and then getting a game over, wondering why the fuck that happened, and then me getting a log afterwards, realizing that it's a game over because I'm outside the range based on the log. Like, I feel like that would be super fun too. Okay, thoughts. I'm thinking of a game that I would make that's in the style of Outer Wilds, you know? I think there's mechanically an argument for how that's better. At intuition level, it feels better. Like, I greatly prefer something like that.
Fuck it, it's my story. Let's explore Timberhearth.
That's one thing that's a beauty about this game. You have a lot of plot points and things to explore, and you can find it just as rewarding to go to somewhere where you have no plot points and find a new story and how it relates. Exploration-wise, I think this game is fucking untouched.
Mining Site 2B.
One small detail. I actually put a PNG of 2B from Nier Automata there just because I thought it was funny for a split second, and that's the only reason why this scene exists.
Is a boss fight about to start? Pick up.
Okay, people, like, that might be a throwaway line. That might be, like, something where you think I'm exaggerating, I'm playing something up to, like, make a more entertaining stream / or whatever. No, I genuinely thought, like, I would not be surprised right now if suddenly, like, rocks start to form and there's a platforming boss fight or something. Like, I was prepared for that.
A quantum shard on another planet. The shard looks the same as the quantum moon's surface does now while at the eye. From this, we can reasonably infer the quantum moon's natural state.
Here's the thing about this line. I'm not sure how logical authoritative that if an object from the quantum moon reflects the quantum moon, and the quantum moon in its natural state, is orbiting the eye of the universe, if it logically follows that the quantum moon would look like the eye of the universe. Like, this feels like way too conclusional. I feel like this scene would benefit, and I'm talking like a lot, from just saying, like, this is our leading theory. It could be wrong, but if it were the case, this is how we would infer. Because, like, the Nomai is scientifically engineering as, like, a super smart, like, super space race and stuff. They would know scientific principles, they would know bias, they would know all these things. And they'd be like, we don't know all the values, but here's our best guess. I just hate how they phrase this as it's, like, this is 100% the case. Like, you as scientists would not be able to say anything's 100% the case. We only gain making more sense from adding those revisions, right? Okay, it's more like making more sense is a positive and not a negative. There is not one person I know where they have a criticism of something saying that it makes too much sense. Like, that is never the criticism, right? However, it doesn't make sense is a major criticism that's applied to many movies. Dark Bramble is given, like, an agency here. And I don't know how I feel about it, because by the time we're exploring, Dark Bramble has no agency. I can't imagine how an alternate world will be where Dark Bramble captures, like, the spacecraft, and then, like, when you're flying by Dark Bramble, it, like, captures you as well. Like, and that's a fun gameplay segment that you can't avoid, and it's a big horror segment, too. I would feel like if there's no reason why Dark Bramble didn't lost its agency or the ability to capture spaceships. That isn't explained. We kind of just have to assume. Maybe DLC covers it. I'm not exactly sure, but base game should stand on its own. All that stuff. Because it makes no sense why they aren't. Like, did Dark Bramble die? How did it die? What happened to it? I would love to figure all this out. But the game just says no and nothing about this. It just lost its... Like, I feel like it genuinely hurts the game. It genuinely hurts the story.
Like Anona's warp core, which made it possible so that everyone can warp long distances and explore more.
Here's the thing. This game does a good job of contextualizing, like, exposition. Like, it makes sense why you'd figure out a bunch of basic information about the nomai culture in the universe from an elementary school equivalent, like, right? And this is the best way to do exposition where, you know, you have a reason for exposition. Like, I am here of my own volition or own dumb luck that I got to a school where they were teaching basic things. If I'm in a school where they're teaching basic things, I should learn basic things, right? That's scary to think about, even though Koei tells me that this won't happen in our lifetimes. It will happen to someone else's someday. Foreshadowing is a literary device where... which is hard to think about for too long without your brain hurting. That is one of the peak lines from this game. It's hard to think about for too long without your brain hurting is fucking peak. God, fucking savage. Of note, Yaro believes... I'll criticize this game a lot from a plot perspective. From a character perspective, my goodness, these dialogue options are fucking great. They're good at conveying what each nomai is thinking and that they all have a personality and stuff. Fantastic. No, Yaro understands the distinction. He likely doesn't realize the Hourglass Twins are so close together that they function as a single astral body. I don't think this logically holds up. That two objects in orbit around each other count as the same astral body, just based on proximity. I think that's fucking ridiculous from a physics standpoint. I didn't bring this up in the video, so I'll talk about it now. Everything is interlocked to each other if you're talking about gravitationally bound objects, like the sun and the earth are gravitationally bound. There's a center mass between them. They are close enough. It's just that the center mass is so favored in the sun's order that it's inside the sun. I think what the game is trying to do is that the only thing that matters with the object matter is the center of mass. But if that's the case, if this is the case, every single tower would be pointed at the fucking sun because that's the center astral thing for the solar system. Because all of them are interlocked with the sun, so that means the net center of mass is near the sun. This thing where the astral twin bodies, like, share the same... I can get maybe the same body being at its center of mass. Like, if it's physically connected, that's something where you have a little bit more wiggle room to operate. But when it's just two things in close proximity orbiting each other, like... Okay, maybe if they made the junction of where they need connected mass, which is why you could only teleport to the ash twin while they're exchanging mass. That could be a great writing workaround. And since we're always exchanging sands by basically the time of the loop, or by the time that you need to access the loop, and all that jazz, that they could have used that as a logic tree. Because after all, close proximity is subjective. What is close? Close compared to what? Close compared to me to this desk? Oh, well, the planets are fucking far apart. Close compared to me to the farthest distance in the universe? That's pretty damn close. Like, especially because all these, you know, writings we're saying are scientists, engineers. They're intellectuals. They would know to talk in this way. And the fact that they don't is like... it bothers me a lot. I'm gonna be real. It bothers me a fucking lot. Some players must have wanted to retune a tower to a different place. Yeah. But how'd I put it? Every line they had, like, if the tower shifted, it wouldn't align anymore. Like, that's like, yeah, it wouldn't align with the astral body. But but you can tune a tower to a different astral body. Provided, because, you know, most orbits in the sun, how they work. Okay, most people don't know this. But every planet is on a 2D plane, basically. Because that's how the sun formed. There was a disk around the protostar that is the sun. And then they all formed on the same disk because of a concept called conservation of angular momentum. That means that there would be several points where the same tower could align with the same astral body, even if its space didn't change. So that's kind of the framework I was working off of, where, like, yeah, there are multiple points where the same tower would align with multiple planets. Like, that's just true based on simple geometry and formation of solar system. Wait. I realized the thing. I can warp to the Ash Twin Tower before the sand falls if I go to the teleporter spot on Ember Twin, and then from Ash Twin I could use the other teleporter to teleport somewhere else. Maybe that's the solution. Frick, it very well could be the case. And the teleporting in... Oh yeah, I'm gonna be real. This aspect of the video, I find no defense of. It makes no sense why white hole, black hole forms only perform when you're on the frickin' Ash Twin Tower and not on the receiver. Fine answer. I had to be told by chat that I couldn't go from receiver to tower. That's how little this game, like, doesn't tell you that. You kind of just find out about it through some natural method. I would have been bored as shit and been trying so many solutions if I didn't know that. It's clear the devs having an undo button because no other case. Well, okay, so it's shit. It's just the game's devs did it for a gameplay reason. Like, you get me? Like, my point is that gameplay and story don't have to, like, separate. You can have story that intermingles with gameplay. You can have a mechanic that works with gameplay. Why did they decide to have this? Just make the tower two-way. You would fix this issue. And I don't think it would change much about the game. It would just me teleport to that other tower, figuring out that the sand is still covering the other stuff. So fuck, I have to find a different solution. And the logic would still stay in the world, right? So making it two-way, I think it's just a net benefit. There's no downside to doing it. It's only improved. Yeah, like I said, you get into this issue where the game has defined physics and then has undefined physics, and it always uses undefined physics as its escape hole to, like, lure it is like, no, it was supposed to be this way the whole... Like, I get it, like, but you can write, like, any story where you just, like, have the reveal dependent on the fact that you don't know what it is. It's some outside force and all that stuff. At one point is that they think it couldn't create it, which is why their shuttles are stupid. Launcher recall. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I'm fine with the warp core plotline. Like, I don't think there's much wrong there. They're just... Black hole, white hole can warp you in time, thus implying that it can warp you in space is no big issue. Because as we all know, space is time. Thank you, Neil deGrasse Tyson. So, like, I don't think that's too far of a stretch. I assume that a warp core that could go through time would be fine for helping you travel through space as well. Like, there'd be some synergy there. Like, there's a logic tree. I have issues where cases where there isn't a logic tree, you know? Or rather, if they use the veil of you don't know fucking anything as an excuse for why something works, which that just feels cheap, and any writer could do that by saying, like, you just didn't know about this, therefore that's what happened. Like, you can write any story that way and justify any story that way. So it's not inherently good or bad. It pisses me off because the writer's like, I can make it so that any story works with this. When it's just like, no, you're just using a basic strategy that's unfair. It's like the equivalent of using, like, a skill in, like, League of Legends or Dota or something, where it's you don't have to think, you just press these buttons and you win. There's no really tactical knowledge of it. These are just an I win button. That's the equivalent of, like, an I win button for storytelling, which that's not necessarily being crafted at it. That's just knowing an exploit, right? That's all it is. If rules aren't consistent, you get punished for logically thinking, which, when is there a situation that you ever want to punish logically thinking? I can think of some, like, maybe horror games where the fact that it's illogical adds the horror element, but what about this game? How does illogic add... I don't... This is too big for me to ponder right now with this much alcohol in me. I'm gonna be real. The best way I can think about this is, like, think about this juggler. Think about it. If you're a juggler, you can juggle one ball expertly. You just throw it up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's a perfect juggle by every definition. There's no mistakes. You are perfectly throwing this ball up in the air. Now imagine you're a juggler with 20 balls. A juggler with 20 balls doing it perfectly is way more impressive than a juggler with one ball doing it perfectly. I feel like them writing that it's in the veil of unknownness is the equivalent to juggling one ball. But you setting up all your rules, you doing all this stuff, the work that happens in the first intro of the game, so that you have all this basis to work off of and still tell an interesting story, that's the equivalent of juggling 20 balls. And so I feel the tact of I feel a little bit scammed because this is a person who's just using a basic trick. He's juggling a very simple order, and that's how they get it.
Life cycle, now approaching Red Giant stage, evacuate Sun Station.
Oh, by the way, I'm talking about this. I did the calculations, even with the decreased time/space scale. A supernova happening this quick is bullshit. Like, it shouldn't go from Red Giant to fucking supernova that quickly. Okay, this is the beginning. This is the fucking beginning where I start to hate this story. Okay, my go-to theory, because I was hoping that it wasn't, because I had faith that this game was definitely more written than I gave it credit for. Spoiler. But, I thought it was something, come on, because like, it's expanding into a red giant. We're near the end of the star, not the exact end. But it expanding into a red giant caused it that the interloper's orbit would intersect, and the interaction between the interloper and the sun would cause the supernova effect, because there's some material there that would do that. Like, this is sci-fi, this is science fiction, that's in the realm of possibility. It definitely makes way more sense than, I repeat, random meteor. As long as we're clear on that, Let's move on. Okay, what's this? What's this? Okay, so I played a lot of music from the Zero Escape OST here because Zero Escape is about this horror-filled puzzle game where it's built on the decisions of choices, building on that, and all that crap, and interrelation between multi-tab. It's actually a fucking crazy as hell game that I fucking love. I don't think it's good, but I love it. Like, it's like anime. It fills that anime niche for me. And I feel like that accentuates what's going on here a little bit, where it's just like, oh god, what the fuck's going on? I have all these puzzle pieces, but don't know how to fit them together. How will this fit into the puzzle? Died within a very short time of them landing on the comet. Random comet deciding the plot of the Nomai is ridiculously... But hey, I'm hopeful. I at least am presenting the fact that it could be justified with later storytelling. It'd be difficult to do, but I'd be welcome to them saying that this comet isn't random and like there's more reasoning for it that we just don't understand. Then again, this is like we're talking about juggling one ball at this point. Don't get me wrong. We're still juggling one ball with the appeal to knowledge that we don't know yet. But juggling one ball is better than juggling 0 balls, right? Like, I just think the music fits so well for the environment. I don't know. Some people complain about my music usage in this video. I don't know. I see scenes like this and I feel like it just fucking fits so well. And like, I wish I could understand why people say that this music doesn't fit well in this scenario. I just can't see it. Like, I am incapable. Like, my perception is just like, this is just so fitting. You get me? What in the space-time continue fuck? Yeah, what in the space-time continue fuck is a great line. I want that on a shirt. I had to re-upload this video at some point because I used too much of the meme song and it got copyright ID'd. It only took a day to like re-render and re-upload, but like still, like I wanted to make this joke because a Feldspar is the fucking Chad. He is so cool, dude. He is Shadow the Hedgehog with like dual Uzis. Like he is insane. You get me? In this light, guess the jellyfish are only useful institution for electricity. Again, institution from electricity. Like I said, I had a stuttering tick when I was younger. I feel like me misreading words are just kind of like a amalgamation of that in some aspect. So I don't blame myself too much. However, it's just awkward, you know? But it's a Nomai. We don't know how to convert this to our language because, you know, we don't have a translator. That is the worst fucking reveal in the game. That is the worst. That you cannot translate the coordinates. Like, what the fuck? Like, you have a device meant for translating the alien language, and then you get symbols in an alien language that you don't understand. And the translator does fucking nothing. Ah, what the? Come on! I hear, like the example I always go to is latitude and longitude on Earth. If I give you a latitude and longitude of a place, you can trace it to the exact place on the Earth of where the town is or whatever. But those are fundamentally numbers. You can understand numbers through a translator. We can know what the numbers are. They could just be coordinates, kind of like latitude and longitude. With no context, we would have nothing to know about because we don't know the system they're working with. They should have gone with that approach rather than I literally cannot translate this if I want to. That feels like such bullshit. Like I'm saying, the alternative, people, it's not that this isn't in the game. The alternative is that we have a coordinate system that works with their space-time bending ship, and we just have no way to interpret it. I would prefer that approach of where we are given numbers that make sense, that do all these things Nestle, but we just have no way interpreting it. That would make more sense from a causal play. Get me? Because otherwise, it just seems like we can't translate it because fuck you. That's why. Think of infinite probability dress that covers. That is you're touching on the point that I exactly want, anglerfish. I want us to like put the translator up to it and us to get incomprehensible garbage backwards. But we're just told that we can't do it. Why? I'm genuinely pissed about this plot point. I'm genuinely angry about that because it's fucking stupid. And it's just as simple as that. Don't get me wrong. I will clarify, people. I love this game. This game has a lot that it does well. This specific point triggers the fuck out of me. It's that simple.
What's...
That was just a vine.
Motherfucker! I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. Where do I go?
Okay, one small thing you'll see in the scene. This is... I actually blend together music tracks. Every time I'm chased by a fish, I play the combat theme from Urdak and Doom Eternal, while every time I'm just exploring, it's just a regular Urdak theme. The one thing I hate is the fear of not knowing. And the fact of not knowing an anglerfish was near me is fucking... It's a lot. You get me? Yeah. How'd I put it? A part of the reason that makes me so frustrated with a lot of this is that it feels like such simple changes could make the story way better. But they don't make them. I don't give points for close enough. I give points for accuracy. Like, if that makes sense. Like, oh god, and like that aspect I just heavily despise. It's because this core is exposed to the cold, empty vacuum of space, alright? So like in space, there's no atmosphere, which means there's no medium, that therefore sound can't propagate. So I feel like with the mist and like the implied stuff that you can easily imply atmosphere here. I would say that the issue I get into is that you can easily imply that there is an atmosphere by almost the same logic, by different variables that are just as valid. I accept that, like, yeah, I was just making wrong intuitions off the wrong things. But then we get into the whole issue of this game requires some physics knowledge for some reveals, and it rewards it, and it disrewards stuff for having physics knowledge. And I feel like this is a case where literally it does both at the same time. That's detected, like, when you're in an atmosphere or not. And then I think it would be perfect. Yeah, I still think I would like that change. I think there's nothing gained from a little thing in your meter. Like, if, for example, like, right beneath here, like, atmosphere detected here, you lose nothing in the game, and you gain a bunch of information that you can use. Like, okay, atmosphere? Wait. Sound needs mediums to propagate, which is atmosphere. Like, oh, then you can suddenly come to the conclusion. But without knowing that there isn't any atmosphere here, because it could just be space fog. It could not be an atmosphere. It could just be fog or some visual effect from a gameplay element. Like, clarifying that would do wonders for someone like, right?
And many of the Nomais had decided to band together as they say the universe is dying. Well,
I was able to infer this after the fact, but maybe I would just like more clearer indication of that these are logs from the present and that the others are like warp logs of captain's logs they gave. Like, for example, very, very simplistic, less than optimal, but it gets the job done and it demonstrates that show that my point doesn't need that, you know, this doesn't have to be the case. Like, you can have like a ship log date on the current ship's log. It's like a time like that's like 2000 or something. And then we get this ship log that says like current log 52,000, like an obscene amount of time in the future. I feel like that's an easy way that's diegetic, that makes sense why things are here, and why and how to distinguish that this is so far in the future. Okay, so it's coming soon. It's coming soon. And go. Oh my goodness. Oh my, that's the fucking, there we go. There we fucking go, baby. See, like, me logically figuring that out from the base principles, like, it's great. I think what I'm saying is I'm advocating for experience with more, like, less justified confusion, if you get what I mean. Like, I don't think the confusion there was necessarily justified, because I don't think... How are you expected to understand something if you don't know why it works, right? Like, also, like, there's a little bit of unknownness, like, how would I know that the sand wouldn't pull me up in time before hitting the warp tower? Like, you either have to intuit that, or you have to guess at it. You can't really, like, logically arrive. Like, it's just like a, what if this is the case? Test it. Which I guess is a scientific method. This point isn't as strong as I'm letting on with this whole thing. I'm actually more just thinking out loud. I don't think it's as much as a flaw as I'm letting on here, but yeah.
If just one of these previous events...
So yeah, all 4 of these points are my main issues with the game. These facts either imply a very coincidental nature in terms of world building or story or plot. I think no matter how you interpret these, like, provided that you agree with me on all these base principles, I feel like these are all just net negative. Okay, one channel I can't recommend more is Mahler. He makes great videos on video essays, art analysis. I recently watched a video where he talked about the Fallout show. And he was able to eloquate quite succinctly and quite crudely why I hated the Fallout show. It's because of logical inconsistencies, inconsistent character motivations, and inconsistencies with writing and storytelling. A great story point, although very long, is very true. This video I'm referencing is an hour and a half. However, he does break down literally all of video analysis, like video essays, and why people, when they assert that they have feelings about something, when they state factual things after, is that, well, then your feeling statement didn't matter because what you said is deeply untrue. It doesn't matter if you feel it's true. You asserted it was, just through the veil of saying to feel. It does say it in the game. No, Ice Cream Man, I don't think if you got that distinction from my rebuttal that you understood fully what my point was. My point is that sky is blue is a true thing. However, there's nuance here because the sky is actually black when the sun is on the other side of the earth. Ignore that. Sun in the sky, we're assuming sky is blue, right? That is an objective fact. That is something of our world that we can assume and stuff. What part of your world can you assume that increased sunlight means to increase volcanic activity? Nothing. Nothing about real world does that. Because why? Because we don't know a lot of volcanoes. On the lifespan of a human, you wouldn't be able to tell about volcanoes and how they erupt and what causes them to. That just isn't something that's generally known. Now imagine you are someone who generally knows what volcanoes do. In research, they found that sunlight and sunlight activity is not at all related to the frequency of volcano eruptions. That would inherently imply that there's no causal effect. That's basically my point, is that this is a very abstract idea. There is a thin veil that's like, sun is hot, therefore if more hot, volcano more hot, therefore more sun. But that's elementary school logic. That doesn't at all check out. If you look at it any deeper than that surface level thought, the logic isn't true. Like, it falls apart very quickly. That's kind of my point with I didn't do this in the video. It's one of my major mistakes. One of my things that I don't necessarily appreciate is that I kind of went half-assed in this because I prioritized physics in my first playthrough over the backbone of my critical analysis. And the other words, like Mr. Miyagi says, you either learn karate or you don't. You stay on this side of the street or the other. If you go halfway and learn karate, you'll get run over. That's exactly the case that happened here. I went half-assed with my analysis, and thus nobody was really convinced. And people who thought what they came in coming into the analysis, they think the same way. It's my fault for not really providing an environment where everything is properly justified. And I get that. And I hope to correct it eventually. To be fair, I get that a lot with the end of plot conclusions in this game. That is just the writer forcing an ending that's tragic and sweet and not at all justified.
Story. It's a necessity for one very lucky or unlucky person to be in the alien's first presence.
Yeah, that's just saying that contrivance can happen, and that contrivance, this is what's known commonly in writing as the starting cause effect, or the inciting incident. Of inciting incident, what dictates the story and how people feel and how people act and all that stuff, but it behaves logically afterward. As in, like, the story is kind of impossible to tell without having this inciting incident, so it's required, because that's what the story's about, right? But in order for Outer Wilds to use that inciting thing, you have to claim that 4 separate events have an inciting incident clause when it only works once. Like,
there are 2 key factors that I think this game is all about: the mystery of why there is a time travel loop, and exploring the ruins of an ancient civilization across the star system.
I think those 2 traits, like I said, time travel loop, exploring the existence of an ancient civilization. Without those 2 things, Outer Wilds would not be Outer Wild. I feel like so many people miss this. It's just like, those are the 2 main points that I think of Outer Wilds, Outer Wild.
Maybe a villain of the Nomai takes such a strong stance against the Ash Twin project, they sabotage the Sun Station and attempt to kill the Nomai responsible.
You have no idea. This one suggestion I make, how to make a story in the same vein of Outer Wilds, and have it all causally linked together. This one example is like the nitpick that make me, oh, no, it can't be the case. Like, I'm giving an example of how things could be causally related. I'm not necessarily giving that this is the best example. This is great, but shows that you don't need, that you can have the core gameplay, the core time loop, the core gameplay loop of Outer Wilds well, having a story that relies on causal sense. Like, that character motivation relies on, you know, civilization, just acting and behaving. I don't know. I guess the best way of describing it is like people. But random meteor absolves anyone of any wrongdoing because it doesn't matter. There's a comet that's due to arrive at this place and it will kill everyone. And that's such a fucking cop-out. That is such a goddamn cop-out. Supernova keeps happening to send you back in time. So you have to learn how to make a translator. You have to learn how to fly, and you have to get to the root of what the hell is going on here. So here's the thing with coincidence driving story that a lot of stories do kind of all right, is that usually you have the coincidence, the inciting incident, be the motivation for the character engaging with the story. That's basically the central point here, is that, okay, I'm a character who found myself in shit circumstances. How do I get myself out of it? Okay, cool. There's the inciting incident, and we have a direct reason for the character to engage in the plot because they found themselves in a situation when they didn't want to. So now they have to solve it. And suddenly, bam, we have this great interwoven way of combining coincidence and storytelling while also having an endearing character. Like, it just feels like so weird how they didn't do something like this. One of the benefits of the movie Groundhog Day is that when you have practically infinite time in a time loop, you can learn everything, from playing the piano at a master's level to learning the language of an alien civilization, which I feel is a neat concept to play with infinite time. Yeah, they could have just hand-waved, like, you understand alien civilization? You had literally infinite time. You could read that. Perfect. Then you don't have to rely on the translator being finished somewhat around when you would depart. That's a coincidence that doesn't need to happen, because you can replace that with a causal link, you know? Learning the language and learning to fly a ship may be way too tedious from a gameplay standpoint, but this could quickly be solved with a time skip or montage of your character learning it. It would lose the impact of the first, oh fuck, I'm in a time loop and the sun just exploded, while you were exploring for the first few minutes, but that's a cost I think is worth. Additionally, I think I'm firmly stanced on this point, that like, nothing is worth the coincidence of you finishing the translator, starting on your mission right as you get time. Like, that is just such an unworthy amount of coincidence, like, because, like, the inciting incident, if we go by the inciting incident clause argument, is the nomai detecting the signal. That is the net cause. It just so happens that through world building, there's evolution going on a planet, which is fine. We don't know the universe. Evolution could be happening on multiple planets all the time across the solar system. And then we get there, you know, we become a developing situation near where the sun ends. You know, all that crap. Because instead of relying on contrivance to set the story on motion, it's primarily character motivation that causes nearly every event. I had a comment on this video recently that said I wanted a character-driven story, and they said that Outer Wilds trivia is more plot-driven. And that was a defense. Plot-driven? I'm sorry, I didn't realize fucking random meteors killing an entire civilization was plot-driven and not just shit writing, but like... No, but the random comment is so great, dude. Like, characters react that the comment is random, and therefore it's good. I get so fed up with those types of research. Again, the point of me making these broad revisions is to show that making a story like The Outer Wilds does not need to rely on contrivance. So since the point is proven, So yeah, me with that line is basically just saying like, hey, you can have a story without these that would have the same gore gameplay / story. And everyone who kind of disagrees with me in the comments and all that shit, they just ignore that point, that the broad revisions are here to fix the point of contrivance. Like, I'm demonstrating that it's not impossible to make a story like that. Now, some people may be like, oh, but I like how the nomai know that they're about to die, and when they realize, like, don't get me wrong, that's fine. Like, I think characters reacting in the face of certain doom or a coincidental doom is valuable. My point is that the point of coincidental doom is so extreme that it outweighs any reaction they have to it, because it's just so shit on a general perspective. Because, let's be real, random comment, ending the story, one of the worst things you could possibly do. The module falls into the core of the planet, despite the water currents and despite the electrical core. This is the only thing I actually consider a plot hole in the whole game. Okay, if you disagree with me on the fucking core, on the tracking module falling to the core, it's not the currents that's my issue. It's the fucking electric field over here that repulses anything non-insulative. I hate how I had to explain this, but We have to, 1, assume that this part of the ship is perfectly insulative. 2, that it remains perfectly insulative when it fucking blew up. And then 3, we also have to assume that the currents were not strong enough to redirect it so that it misses the core and all that shit. That is so much unbelievability that it's nothing. It's a plot hole. It has to be. We are implying that the Nomai are just like autistically intelligent to the nth degree. So where they foresaw every possible thing. It's like, we need to make everything insulation and all that. But like, no, like they're scientists, they're engineers. They would know that making it insulated would be extra cost and thus not worth it. They would take the means of less effort. That's the smart thing to do. And the Nomai are smart, right? And fair. Like, if you haven't thought about it and you still enjoy it, that's fine, dude. But like, me thinking about it too much and not like it, like, that's the thing. Like, that's valid too.
The other orbital cannon parts could still be orbiting the planet or floating on the surface. Brittle Hollow.
Okay, so people brought this out. This is an ally token. There's actually an explanation for why the probes have like infinite probes seeking stuff out, and my revision doesn't make too much sense. Is because the orbital probe cannon is hooked up to the ATP, and thus the orbital probe cannon received the time loop. And then it happens 9 million-ish times before getting to this, where we got ATP'd and then all that stuff. Yes, I kind of just, I admit the L. I just missed one log. That's my bad. I missed it through all my revisions. Like, okay, on me. I totally admit where I am wrong. I'll take the L there. Fun fact, if you fast forward time and then like use a console command to bring back the sun's lifespan, you actually get a slightly destroyed Brittle Hollow world. It's actually pretty cool. I wish it was staying in, like, I get into this, but like, what if Brittle Hollow was just holding on and it was like just the scraps of a planet and you could explore both sides? That sounds very engaging. I actually fucking really like it.
Because then you'd have to modify exploring the city on the parts that are still on the planet and the bits of the cities that are in the White Hole Station.
Which, by the way, I'm not gonna lie. Nobody brings up that this point is bad. I just think this is a fire gameplay decision. Like, regardless of what the Outer Worlds is or isn't, I think this is just, like, this would be a great way to implement in an Outer Wilds-esque game. One small thing with Brittle Hollow. There is that log in the volcanic moon that says that volcanic activity is increased to increase sun activity. And I didn't bring it up in this video because I did know about it. However, that just seemed like such shit, such bad writing, that I would have preferred if it was just by coincidence that in Brittle Hollow is still the same. So I was giving the game the benefit of the doubt by saying it's coincidence. This is obviously way more nuanced, as I talked about earlier in this video and through the explanations of everything. This game does stuff that's scientifically inaccurate that I quite like / check up on, that don't think unknow about. Like the tornado spinning in opposite direction, sending you downwards. How the fuck are you supposed to intuit that? That doesn't make any physical sense. Same way in which the volcanic moon increasing activity when the solar activity flares. That doesn't make any sense. Those should be relatively the same level for me, but the volcanic moon is way, way, way more shit. And I don't know how to necessarily make up that loss thing. I think it's because if you're looking for answers into why things are the way they are, Brittle Hollow being mostly torn to crap, just recently falling because of increased volcanic activity due to solar things, that is the conclusion for why world building is the way it is. The Giant's Deep having tornado twist the other way instead of send downwards, that's not a conclusion. That's a setup. That's a setup to get you to explore. That's a setup in the game. That's early game stuff. I think this goes more fundamentally back on my path of, like, if you have stuff that's different from real world physics and you want to rely on intuition, you have to introduce those mechanics early on, or else you won't be able to deduce them. That's the main thing that I think that separates these two variables as different for me. Dude, this is a mystery game. A lot of the fun people have with mystery games is that they can figure out the conclusion if they're smart enough and work with the details enough. This game is built so much on coincidence that you cannot predict the end until you get to it, until you experience it, until you get an answer. You can't use your previous built-up stuff to predict where it will go. And that's one of the biggest issues I take with this game, because this game is totally a mystery game. It is totally. You're exploring civilization, all these factors and crap. People who like figuring out mysteries will be missing out on a lot because they will be unable to predict where it goes. Because it is held through the proverbial veil of, you just didn't know. This is just what happened. It's the writer holding a cloth in front of you, blinding you from ever seeing what's going on.
Alien science or something like that, and I would buy into it.
Yeah. I think I say this right here. It's like, I want the writer to wave their hand and say alien science, and I would be fine with it. The fact that they don't think inherently implies that they think it stands on their own. That, oh, you can obviously see that. When no, it's not the case. So hi, people who are no longer here who like the Outer Wilds. This game's fucking garbage. Any questions? I love the game. Its conclusion is just jack shit, though. I find no excuse for why all these things have to happen.
Let's see what's inside. Do these things abide by quantum effects? No, they don't anymore. What? Okay, so
okay, nitpick. Not at all relevant to the story or central gameplay or anything. But like, I fucking, you built up this quantum entanglement rule. I did a picture. I did all that shit, and it still leaves. Why did it fucking leave? What was the mechanic that made it leave? Is there just some abstract other freaking variable in the universe that causes this to happen? Yeah, like I said, there's some issues with the story in this game. It's because the eye of the universe is like super quantum, so like quantum rules don't apply. Like, what the fuck? Like, I feel like there's no defense for why this happens. I feel like the only defense people would say is that, yeah, it's kind of shit, but it's a nitpick. It doesn't really matter too much, which fair. It doesn't matter too much. I agree on that point. However, it pisses me off.
I'm in the museum.
Okay, this museum is the one part about the ending of Outer Wilds that I really like. I think the museum is a great way of reflecting on your journey and stuff. I just wish it went beyond that, because the section after this disappoints me. I don't like it. Serve. I will say, execution-wise, there's a lot I like about this conclusion. Like that, like having a central gameplay mechanic of you looking at the solar system from the globe, that being used to give you a cosmic perspective. Oh, chills, dude. That is such a great way to reuse the mechanic for a greater purpose.
Fuck yeah, I'd like to roast a marshmallow at the end of the universe. Are you kidding me?
One thing I didn't realize is that after the fact, roasting marshmallows at the end of the universe is actually a very popular Outer Wilds video. That's, I didn't realize. I just came up with that on the spot. But, okay, funny coincidence, I guess. It's not quite time yet. I'm pretty sure we need the others for this spark. You need no, everyone. No rush. Take your time. Might not even exist here.
To the next.
That is existentially terrifying. I will give that. How do I put it? I love this game so much in terms of its vague ideas and concepts. I just wish it was fucking executed. Like, I don't think anyone would be complaining if it was executed better. I can't. I fucking can't. The game... Dude, okay, the game giving me this jump scare was the biggest frickin'... It was the biggest goddamn, like, fuck you. And I love it. This, because this whole area is supposed to reflect your journey. It's supposed to reflect what you did. So an anglefish being there is perfectly reasonable. And it scares the fuck out of me. It's fantastic. This aspect I absolutely adore about this game. Across Old Bart, an ancient glade. It's always... Okay, go this... Let's get back to video game criticisms, where stuff actually fucking matters. I wish there was more done with the ancient glaive on Timberhearth. Because I spent a whole time exploring ancient glaive, expecting there to be some great answer, but no, it's basically there just to teach you fundamentally quantum observation. Why isn't there a puzzle that gives me like a hint or like a cool gemstone or at least like a realization or something? Like, you could easily have that fucking happen. Why do you have the freaking callback to the ancient grove here at the end of the fucking game when the thing itself did fucking nothing? Like, why not make the ancient glaive, like, actually have something that's worth value? And thus that teaches the player a lesson for making this. And if they don't have it and they're just following signs at the end, so be it. That's their decision for not engaging with the ancient glaive quest. How long has it been since I got to make music with everyone around a campfire? Really happy we're all here now. I'm kind of upset that Esker never really got a conclusion to his story arc. That it's just like he never got people just... I would have loved it, like, if there was, like, a plot line or a quest line where it's like, I could vie conversation with people, get them to really care more about Esker, because Esker's just a loner, fucking cowboy on the moon. Dude, how impactful would it have been to, like, get people to be like, oh, hey, have you heard Esker? He's done this thing. You should check in on him. And, like, me through dialogue options or solving certain information, get people to check in on Esker. And then him, by the end of a loop, could feel happy that his friends, like, check in on him. Feels loved. I feel like that could be... I don't necessarily think that's a criticism. It's a wasted opportunity. Close enough. It's the best kind of thing that makes glad you stopped and smelled the pine trees along the way, you know? Some people say that that line means a lot to them. I don't know. It just feels too general for me to really connect with. Like, stop and smell the pine trees along the way. Like, that's basically what it is saying, like, enjoy the experience for what it is, not what it will be. Enjoy your time. And that's the important thing. Which, fair. I think that's a fine message. It's a good message. My problem is why is somebody telling me this at the literal end of a story? Enjoy the roses? The roses are fucking 5 miles past me, dude. Like, hello? All right, I'm gonna preface this by this next scene. Okay, spoilers for anyone who just doesn't want to be fucking completely left out of the fucking left-right field when they play this game. But this conclusion that comes here is fucking beautiful. I love it, actually. I just wish it had different setup. So yeah, people, what I'm saying is, in this conclusion, like, I fucking love a lot of the execution of it. I love a lot of the performance. I just think in a different story, this would be so impactful on me. But because of a lot of the bullshit that I've seen with this, like, it's just not as impactful. You know what I mean? Like, this is a structure, this is a building built on a faulty foundation here. So if it falls over, I'm not expecting it. It just kind of happened. That's just what you expect. I feel like that's a similar circumstance of what's happening. Habitable in 14 billion years for more species to explore. However, just look at me just taking my headphones off being like, no way is the game going this fucking direction. No way is it. And it did. And okay, to be fair, this is me going no way and absolutely fucking loving it. I'm in disbelief because I love it. Where she tells you straight up she thinks of you as a friend. Is this just me saying that I think in love language that words of affirmation is how I just like to receive things? Had some agency, but they don't. Some would argue that the character does have agency because there's a finite list of options. All of them are a personality that a character can take. However, I would say that's analyzing this to the point of ridiculousness. Because I think it's... Okay, I hate appeal to intuition. But I feel like with the way they structure this game, is that they're asking you what you think and then giving you a wide variety of options to select what closest happens to your belief, not exactly it. What's more likely, that it's giving you a bunch of options for you to express yourself, or it's giving you options for which the character could express themselves, all of which that are wildly different? Like, I feel like the character has no agency is such a good argument. In the cases where two of their answers to the same question are the fucking opposite. This happens so many times in the game. Yeah. I didn't spend all this time in the game conversing endlessly with these folks. I spent it in a spaceship. I spent it roaming a planet. I spent it being a space detective. Yeah, I feel like that point still rings true. The end puts so much of an emphasis on you caring about people that you met along the way, but the game wasn't about the people you met along the way. The game was about your adventure of discovering a story, fundamentally. And I could argue that some is about the people you met along. Don't get me wrong, that's an element of it. It's just not as major as you discovering stuff for yourself. You being a space detective and all that stuff. That's all what I'm saying. So at the ending, what I'm saying is, like, because most people went on a journey, they went on exploration, they discovered a story in their own way, ending that reflects way more of their journey rather than the characters they meet would be more impactful. because everyone is required to have a journey to explore in order to get to the ends. You're not required to talk with a lot of the NPCs. And that's not to dissuade people who like the characters. Like, don't get me wrong. I like the characters a lot, too. Some of them. Not a lot of them. A few. But I have trouble related to the characters of which I didn't speak a lot to. And now, sure, you can speak to them a lot, too, but the game in no way requires you to.
And as the uncertainty in the position approaches 0, the uncertainty in this momentum gets bigger and bigger. Almost hits would be super hot and super fast, much like the Big Bang.
Still, I think if this physics working was explained at least somewhat, or at least alluded to in the museum, I'd have no fucking issues with it. Because this is using, okay, sure, there's some absurdity a little bit in the fact that saying uncertainty is equivalent to the randomness of momentum. Like, the uncertainty of momentum is not, like, an exact one-to-one correlation with the randomness of picking a random value of momentum. But I say it's close enough to draw an intuitive link. Like, those are in, like, an order of approximation of each other, to where, under a certain interpretation, it works.
Outer Wilds is a spiritual game, and there's no way around that.
Deeply, when it talk about conscious observers, and when you think about it more, the only logical explanation is an argument for the soul or spiritualism. It's a great message for the game, that we are more than just matter. There's something empowering about that. There's something that's a good storyline about that. Outer Wilds, like, don't get me wrong. Outer Wilds, good game. Highly recommend. I give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Like, somewhere around that. Like, it's worth playing. 5 being average. This isn't like an IGN 6 or 7, where 6 or 7 means fucking unplayable. 5 means, like, it's playable just barely. Like, it's neither good nor bad. It was merely worth your time. So I give this a 6 or 7, which is actually quite a high review. And this is because I like the ideas, I like the gameplay, I like all that stuff so much. I just wish it had better fucking writing. It's that simple. I just wish it had better writing. I ranted a lot why some of the sections of this video exist is because, like, I'm disappointed. I was really invested. I really liked the story. I was hooked the first 1 or 2 sessions of playing this game. The game fucking lost me. That's, it hurts. It hurts because I had such high expectations from what the game was setting up, from what the game was doing and all this crap. And I just, it just dropped the ball. I don't know. There's no other way simpler to just really describe it. That's how it is.
I think this is just hilarious, as it shows that the rules of the game aren't able to exist in a consistent universe.
I think the developers have a pretty good sense of humor from including that, that the laws don't quite add up in the universe, and as you get contradictions and paradoxes that fucking fundamentally break it. Like, don't get me wrong, that's the way how you do humor. That's the way how you do absurdism a little bit, is where you have a logic, and then you play with that logic with other, like, just commonly built logic until one of them fucking explodes. If the game had that sense of tone the whole time, I might be a little bit kinder on it, but it seems to think that, like, some of those absurdist points are, like, genuine, which is, I guess, kind of where I take issue, if that makes sense, because it's, like, presented in such a...
Honestly, I don't think it's going to do well. And something, I want to do more like this in the future.
I was right at the end when I made this. This video didn't do well. Only 15k views. That's, like, nothing compared to what some stuff on my channel does, what the average on my channel does. So, would people say that this video, I made it, and I'm just fucking wrong, and I'm just trying to be sensationalist, or, like, appeal to contrarianism or something like that, and I don't generally feel it, like, it hurts, because I made this video fully expecting that my audience wouldn't like it, fully expecting that me taking such a controversial stake to a game that is beloved by a cult following, that I would not be accepted. So I don't think there's really motivation to really say that I did this for any reason other than what I put in the video is I think to be true. Some stuff in the comments, like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people in the comment section who politely disagree with me, who say where I think I have factual inaccuracies, to where I misrepresent stuff. And those people are great. I love those people. I appreciate any constructive criticism where you think that I presented my points poorly or that I got stuff factually wrong. I genuinely like that because that means I can improve on my own content and reflect on it and consider more things when working on stuff in the future. There's a few comments though that that imply that I don't know what I'm talking about, that I don't know what I think is true, that I'm actually misinformed, and that I'm not considering things. I just find those deeply hurtful. I feel like people are doing this in this video because they disagree with me. And I want to make it clear that because you disagree with me, lying, you're lying, doesn't mean that we're both lying. Doesn't mean that one of us is telling the truth and one of us isn't. If we have differing perspectives. And I get it. I feel like it's human psychology to some extent. That if you don't agree with something, you dislike it. That's just true. That's just the psychological effect. And I feel like that's what a majority of these dislikes are. People who dislike because I think I'm disingenuous, like, I don't know what else to say other than fuck you, dude. Like, I genuinely feel what I said in this video. I believe what I said to be true, and I will defend that in a lot of circumstances. I put my soul into this video. This was my biggest project to date when I made it, and I fucking love this video. It combines a lot of aspects that I really appreciate. My playthrough, my physics perspective, criticism, and theory on criticism. Like, all these are fucking passions that intertwine, intermingle, in a thing that I fucking love, and I enjoy a lot about the internet. And I meant all of it. Am willing to change my mind in a lot of information. I have a lot of good conversations with people in the comment section of this video where we just talk about the logical accuracy of some of the stuff, the world building, the logs, and they're generally good conversations that will influence the future video I make on this. Just this amount of freaking dislike and discomfort over me just having a general opinion hours into it that the story is shit and that there's a lot of aspects I don't like that don't work together. Like, that's not me saying that, like, this story's bad. It just has some inconsistency / stuff that's incongruent with each other. Like, it's not like I even insult people. I just kind of explain logic and logic fallacies, but that people attach so much to, like, these Boolean values of what they value. What I like is good and what I dislike is bad. And, like, I don't want to say that people's feelings are invalid when they watch this video. But then again, that means my feelings are valid when I made this video. You get me? Like, yeah, I got a couple things wrong. I addressed that. I don't think that changes my overall point. I do have a few things wrong, and I feel like people dismissing me based on, like, the orbital probe cannon, for example. That's the major thing I got wrong in this video. Who dismiss all my points based on that are just using fallacious reasoning to apply one mistake to the other mistake, which there's no real reason to do that. There's no logical reason to do that. I feel like that reason is fundamentally fallacious. I feel like the agree to disagree opinion has slowly died out with the binary nature of likes and dislikes. I feel like agree to disagree is just always a shit argument. Like, if anyone says I agree to disagree, what they actually mean is, like, I don't agree with you, but I don't want to argue. I feel like that's what it boils down to, if you get what I mean. Because, like, at the end of the day, if you have logical and, like, consistent and good reasons for disagreeing with somebody, why wouldn't you just fucking say that rather than just say agree to disagree? Like, if you have a way to disprove this person's logic system, you would do it, right? A lot of people, what they said is when I gave criticisms to this game, is that I cannot criticize this game to that extent. Because there's no objective standard for what's good or bad art. So therefore making disagreements with how the story directed, with what makes the best story and what makes a good / bad story. All my takes on that are wrong because art is inherently subjective. I just want to say, this video right here, I put a lot of time, effort, and work into. I chose the visuals that played when I said stuff. I went through my screen clips thinking for the best thing to show you all. I had to choose the words I said when I described something. By every definition, this video is art. It's something I created. It's something I'm proud of. So who the fuck are you to say that there is something wrong with it? So, like, the whole art is defense argument isn't valid because it applies to both to my criticism and the game. So we get into this infinite recursion loop of criticism where it doesn't work and it keeps not working. I stand behind nearly all of what I said, and I want to do a follow-up to correct a lot of my shortcomings in the video, because I think there is a lot, I mean a lot of stuff to discuss here, and I would like to get into the broader implications. Why they're good or bad, and fundamentally, why are they good or bad? And a discussion of all those things. And I think that would make a banger follow-up video that will probably get 2,000 views. This project was inherently for me, for no one else. Not to be a contrarian, not to prove someone right or wrong, not to appeal to a mass market, people who love Outer Wilds and think it's the best game of all time with no... Wasn't for any of those people. For me. Sorry. So yeah, I know some things in this video aren't as eloquent as I know I did a bit of a bad job explaining criticism stuff. I know I did a lot wrong. But the general things of what I do, the general things of what I said, the general things of what I believe and think true about this game, I stand by 100%. There's some wishy-washy room in terms of, like, factual accuracy. Don't get me wrong. Everyone could be wrong in facts, you get me, but, like, I truly love this video. It's great. I'm a little bit sad that this video was posted on my channel, you know? I'm a speedrun YouTuber. I speedrun Doom games. I talk about gameplay mechanics and stuff, and me caring about this much and making a video about it and having it being fucking blasted into the fucking floor for being wrong when I truly believe I'm not. It was an emotional experience. In the sense of that I've never experienced this much criticism before, which makes me better for it. At worst, it's a passion project of yours. At best, it was a genuine commentary of a beautiful game. I think it was both. It was both. It's a passion project. It was a genuine commentary on a game I find beautiful in a lot of ways. It's just, I feel it weird that human psychology kind of dictates that if you don't like aspects of a game, that means you don't like the whole game. I think this is a great game with a shit conclusion and some shit storytelling. We're talking about fundamental issues, things that I think that should be better, and things that I want to happen from this video. I want people to try to understand me. I want people to understand what I mean. And I feel like a lot of the criticism I got from this video, a lot of the things that brought up, because they don't understand my point. And a lot of what they said is like out of lack of understanding, they just assume the worst case and that I'm wrong, rather than inquire more about my understanding. And I feel like that's endemic with what's wrong with society. When somebody gives you an opinion you don't quite understand, what do you say? You say fuck you rather than what the fuck do you mean? Like, I'm done with being emotional. I had a fun time. It's been all good and stuff. Thank you, people. It's been a 14.5-hour stream.